Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty
I
good.
just realized that there we go. Now we can share it. My phone is lagging.
I know I'm trying to get this shared out to everybody, and
That's
I
what
can't
I'm,
tell.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, doing the same thing.
All
Got so
right.
quiet.
So yeah, we're here. Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hello,
Kate's here. What's up, Kate? Good
Hello.
to see you again. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, did you enjoy your trip to England?
Wait, who were you asking that to?
I was asking that to Kate because
Oh,
if you remember right, she should be back home now from
well,
vacation.
no, she went to Amsterdam.
Is that where she went?
Yeah, she went to Amsterdam, not the UK.
Okay, my mistake.
I
It has
remembered.
been a long, frustrating week.
I think we've all been like that this week.
I think the last 2 weeks have been like,
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a question. This is not paranormal in any way. It actually something concerning my daughter that I want to talk about because Nick, I know you have experiences from this, and Adrian, I think you did. I think you might have with Andrew. And then before the show started, I was talking to Eileen. We can't remember if we ever really talked about anything dealing with autism or not. So what? So what's been going on with my daughter and the way that insurance is working is that eventually, now that she's 18, at some point, it's still going to be years from now, but at some point, she's not going to be able to continue doing her ABA,
Mm-hmm.
and she was gonna have to go somewhere else. So we decided to go ahead and start working on that transition so that it's not um, cold turkey stop one day and then cold turkey start the next day. We wanted to try to do that transition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the place that we put her in is called Easter Seals Ark, which I know is a very well known um, facility business. And we were a little concerned about her going because that was where she went last year when dad and I were both put in the hospital. And it was one of those things where she went into this building and she never came out, never got to come home. So 2 weeks ago, we thought, okay, we're only going to do this 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday, for 3 hours each time. Um, Yesterday, they said that she did okay, but she was kind of skittish a little bit, kind of finicky. And then today, it was like full blown anxiety being in that building. And the director there is thinking the same thing that we were, that maybe this building is traumatizing her so much because she remembers the layout, she remembers the building itself, and is associating that with I'm not coming home.
That is very
Yeah,
possible.
it could be very likely.
Um, so we so
Oh,
we went on ahead. Oh, hi, Martin.
oh, hey, Martin. Good to see you.
So we went on ahead and made the call to put a stop to that one, at least to that building, and see about maybe checking out some of the other um, services in town.
Because there's got to be at least a couple different facilities or services throughout the town. I mean, that can't be the only one.
It no, it's not. Because Fort Wayne is a pretty big place.
about to
Um,
say, yeah.
It's just that mostly you only hear about one or two big companies, and some of the smaller ones you never hear about.
Right.
Those are the ones I would really check out, because what we ran into was, well, of course, your daughter's on a different level than Andrew was, but they were like, because he had really not been diagnosed properly. Once he turned 18, they stopped everything. They were like, nope, there's no services for him.
Really?
He's not changing.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna go away.
No, it's not.
No,
It
it's
just
like-
You can
Just-
help him function in life better.
yeah. I mean, just because
Because-
he turned 18, that doesn't mean like, nope, our work's done. He's 18 now.
Yeah.
Well, I would obviously disagree, saying, okay, yeah, he's 18, but that doesn't mean you have to stop. Continue helping him become more function. I mean,
Who was it that made the call to stop it? Was it just a regular insurance company, or was that Medicaid?
It was Medicaid, and it was also social services.
really?
They were like, we can't do anything for him. And he had a what they called an occupational therapist,
Yeah.
which was going to be really good for him, because up till we got him, he had no sense of life. It was sit in front of the video game, done. That was, and he'd have his outbursts and be violent, and they would take care of that, but that was it. Other than that, he's on his own. So he wasn't taught anything.
It's
Didn't have to
essentially
make his bed. Didn't have to fold his clothes.
it's essentially like they abandoned him right then and there.
They did.
That's what it looks like to me, just because of that. I mean, that just seems ridiculous that they would just leave him like that.
So
I
does this-
wonder if it's because of the violence in him.
Nope.
That
They
No, it's
came
not.
one time, and he was 17 at the time, and then they made more, appointments. Then we got the call
Hey,
saying,
Ernie.
"Hey, he's 18.
Hi, Ernie.
We can't go back. We don't have the authority to
Hey,
go back."
Ernie.
Yeah, that just seems ridiculous that they would come up with that reason. I mean, it's like they also sometimes forget the fact, again, they may be 18, but they're still human regardless. They're not, like, for example, me, at 30 years old, it's been a struggle like with my autism. But even aside from that, it's like, yes, I'm older now, but not much has really changed as far as my autism goes. I'm still pretty much the same like I was
But
25 years ago.
But the thing with your autism is that you are not in a predicament where you are completely helpless.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I still have struggles, but not completely like helpless, though. Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah,
So,
you
Jeremy,
are always
right.
going to have struggles, but it's not like you can't feed yourself. Possibly, maybe even not be able to live on your own. You have a job. You
Yeah,
do
and you have
this.
the skills.
Yeah,
to be able to
exactly.
do so.
Does this facility, I'm sorry, I'm eating and I didn't want to be on screen eating, but does this facility like have a program that teaches them how to live on their own?
I don't know, but I do know that this place, they have resident homes where 3 or 4 of them will live together in a house with a supervisor at all times.
Mhm.
See, we have that on our property. It's a company called Sun Valley, and they have like 3 or 4 different people, and they do have someone with them at all times. They kind of let them live on their own, but not live on their own.
Mhm.
Like have somebody checking in on them to see how they're
No, they
doing.
live there. They're with them. They rotate in and out, so they're there with them all the time.
Yes. Yeah,
But it's-
somebody's basically living with them.
Is it like?
Right.
It's if I could ask. I mean, is it like almost like a caretaker in a way? Like in this case,
They're
watching
there
over
to
taking
make
care of
sure.
these-
From my understanding, they're there to make sure nothing happens, but
Yeah.
trying to kind of get them in a transition period where they kind of can learn how to live. They probably
Right.
won't ever be on their own, but it gives them that sense of that they're on their own.
Right, like trying to somehow live independently.
Right.
Think of it as a nursing home or an old folks home, but in an actual house.
Basically, a group home, as I would see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a group home.
It is.
See,
But
Tom-
what worries me about your daughter is if that scares her, that she may not see you again, because she didn't see you for a while. And when she did see you again, she couldn't go home with you for a while. And
Right.
she couldn't go home with grandpa for a while. And I understand her trauma there.
Mhm.
I think personally, to transition her, if you ever have to a facility, it's going to have to be slowly, very slowly. Where
See, that's what we were trying to do with this transition from ABA to Easter Seals. 3 hours twice a week. Didn't think it would be that bad.
right,
But apparently it just shoots
that
her
place.
anxiety sky high. And they didn't know, they couldn't handle her.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. And I would check those smaller facilities simply because, and check their reviews. And I mean, yes, people could put anything they want to on those reviews. And some of them are just personal experience that they didn't tell their side of the story. But, you know, it's one of those things we have to kind of look at. Okay, walk in without her. Just act like you're going to go visit somebody and walk around.
Yeah.
And see how they interact with them. See if they, and do it all 3 shifts, and see if they're, you know, talk nasty to them, or if they, you know, are short with them, or, you know, any kind of red flag. That to me is what would scare me more than anything. It is
The
Red
only
flags.
issue that I see with that is when somebody does come in for a visit, then the staff is going to be, we got to be on our best behavior so that we don't look bad.
you don't set an appointment.
But
Just
they
go.
don't tell appointment.
No,
That's yeah.
don't.
Just
One
walk
day I
in
just
like
wanna
you're
point-
there to visit somebody. And
One day-
you know,
Well, you
you
probably
don't
have
even
to sign in, don't you?
Yeah.
And saying who you
I'm
have
sure.
to visit. But no, don't. That's a big key in anything, any
Yeah.
facility. Don't ever set up the appointment.
Yeah, don't.
Oh, we didn't. We just went whenever.
Real
and
quick,
just kind
this
of
is
see.
this is something that Tom had brought up, and this is actually kind of in response to like we were just talking about how they somehow stopped services at 18. Tom here, on the other hand, says that there are connection classes till they are 21. That is.
Yes, there are. The thing is, though, you know, depending on the state, I'm sure, but depending on how they were diagnosed, when they were diagnosed, what kind of care they've had between birth and now, the states, unfortunately, are, and let's even go beyond autism or Down syndrome or any other. Let's go with mental illness. That could be any of us at any time. There's no set time that happens, or you're born with it or you're not. It can happen anytime.
Or you can develop it from an accident.
And
Right.
that can be permanent. It's
Oh,
not going to
absolutely.
go away.
So what kind of resources are there for people like that? There's really not. So our resources are really, our insurance companies need to reevaluate, because it's people sitting behind a desk making rules that they have never even gone out in the world to see.
Right.
Well, it's not just the insurance companies themselves. A lot of times, it's the actual companies. For example, when we were looking all over the place for Angelia last year, they all said we can't take her because she's too young.
No, they don't want her because she's too.
Oh, geez. It's like they just can't make up their minds.
because she wasn't 18, even though, well, at the time she was 2 years ago. Yeah, so she was 16.
Mhm.
So at the time, there's like, yeah, she's too young. We can't take her. And I'm thinking, I thought you're supposed to be helping people, and this is an emergency in our case. We
Right.
can't, especially one actually said specifically, if she's nonverbal, we won't take her.
What? Really? Wow.
And that to me is what they're for.
Exactly.
Yeah. That just. Oh God.
Now here's my thing. What about? I'm willing to bet, and you could try this at one that you don't plan on even taking her to. But I'm willing to bet, like they do with the elderly, you say, I want to put her in here permanently. They're going to take her immediately because they get all her money. That they'd say, okay, so what do you own? I own my home. Oh, good. Here, let's sign this paper. And they'll take her immediately. No questions asked.
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing, but they do the same with elderly.
Oh yeah, they do. I've seen that happen on a number of occasions. That's why we never moved my grandfather into a retirement home.
That's
Yep.
why we're here. It will not happen.
So here's the thing that kind of worries me is, let's say I died from the accident,
Mhm.
and then when Dad got COVID, which was just 4 days later, let's say he died.
Mhm.
What was going to happen with Angelia if nobody wanted to take her?
That's what I was
She'd
going
be
to
out.
ask you. What's the
Yeah.
long-term plan?
State would have taken her. They would have put her in a foster home for a while. When the foster home couldn't handle her or didn't want to handle her, she would have went in a state facility, and your house would have been sold for it.
Yep.
And then they would have kept her. But the level of care she would have gotten, who knows?
Yeah.
Because nobody could have chose where she went.
And that's the
all
worst
sad.
part.
I mean,
That's the worst part because you don't know where they're being sent and you don't know how they're being treated. And even, people always think, if you look past history, when it came to the mentally disabled, they were usually treated very poorly and went through almost tortured like atmospheres and conditions. And unfortunately, the sad part is that while it's obviously not as common now, unfortunately, there are still facilities out there that have people who claim they know what they're doing, but they really don't. They don't ever get the education, and they're just also doing it just to get the money.
Well, let me tell you about a home.
on the flip side, but there are some people who truly care. But the only problem is that that's going to be more few. You're going to have more people who are just there for a paycheck now, especially nowadays. Even just in work in general, everybody's there. We're all there for a paycheck. Don't get me wrong, but you're seeing that more and more where people are there for a paycheck, not because they actually care.
Exactly.
Well,
I remember last year, Adrian even told me that she would take Angelia, and I would have had no problem with that. But that's 18 hours away.
Yeah,
right. That was the only downfall.
Let her take Angelia, then I'd never be able to see her because of the distance it's at.
Or you could move to Colorado, and there's that.
But I would have much rather she was with someone you trusted.
Right.
If it came down to there was no one to take her.
Exactly.
She would at least be with someone that would take care of her. But I'm going to tell you, Mom and Dad, you guys know Mom and Dad had patients here, call them patients, anywhere from Down syndrome to anything. It's a facility that's here in town, and they have different homes that take care of them here in town. I'm going to tell you, they have more rights than we do. I'll tell you that right now. There was 2 instances that I remember them talking about. One was, and you can say no. You can say, no, I cannot handle this one. One lady smeared poop all the way from her room to the hallway to the bathroom to wherever. Anyway, Mom had her clean it up. And it happened again. Mom said no more. 2 weeks of this, and she said no more. Another time, there was a person who would, how do we say this without getting kicked off air? Pleasure themselves wherever they felt like. And you couldn't tell them no. You cannot tell them to go to their room to do that. That is their right. You cannot tell them that they cannot do that in public. That is their right. Yeah. My children are going to see this in a grocery store. I'm sorry. No, they're not.
Yeah, no.
No.
Because it's a thing called indecent exposure.
Yeah.
Not for them.
Hey,
Not for
Scott.
them.
Hi, Scott.
Another thing one used to do was sit and urinate or defecate anywhere they felt. And mind you, this was a choice. This was not couldn't. This was a choice. You could not put a diaper on them. Can't do it. That's their choice if they want to do that. This is why some people are saying they have more rights than I do. I can't do this.
You know, if somebody's not potty trained and they're going to be in my house, they will be in diapers.
That's what she told this company.
Nobody's going to tell me, no, you can't put them in diapers. That it's their choice if they want it. No, they're going to be in diapers.
Yeah.
Yes. Just like in a nursing home, they can practice procreation anytime they want to, wherever they want to. That's their right. Uh-huh.
Real quick, I just wanted to go to what Jill had just said. Feels she's being triggered with the BLDG from a memory attachment to a place or to the
Building,
moment.
yeah.
She may need to slowly be reintroduced to those trigger spots or places until she is comfortable again. Establishing new reset memories, add good memories to replace them. Then she also, this was in response to you, Adrian, saying yes, like Adrian says, that could be with any trigger traumas, with or without any disabilities or mental or not. We can learn
Yeah.
to reform how we respond to our triggering traumas.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. It is. I've never heard the term memory attachment, but that's actually exactly what it is. Because she goes back into that building, she remembers a lot more than what people give her credit for.
Yeah.
And
Well,
seeing
Penny?
that building,
We all have that. I mean, there's times
We do.
I just driving down my old street, and when you
We do.
look at certain houses driving down your own street, some of those houses bring you happiness. Some of those houses bring you sadness. I mean, just driving down the road, it's just we all have that,
Right.
That's right.
you know. So there's no reason
And
you wouldn't.
for someone who cannot process it, that stays. That's a constant thought.
Right.
So when they see it again, they're reliving it. They're reliving it, just like maybe a rape victim.
Yeah.
They're reliving it, constant. I honestly, and this is my personal opinion, is I don't think she'll be able to go back there.
no, and even the direct, we pretty much suspended that place indefinitely.
Yeah.
And they agree.
Right.
They agree. They understand that it's triggering her anxiety, and this is one of those things where, okay, we're going to try this. It ended. I don't want to say it's bad, but from her perspective, it is bad.
Yeah.
And it's one of those rare cases where nobody is at fault in this.
No.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
it's
But
just
You have the capability to. You can't change her thought on the place, but
can't change
you can
anything.
make a better
Yeah.
memory somewhere else.
It's like a PTSD that Jill just brought up. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to think of that word. Thank you, Joe.
Now, Tom also said, just like the things that you described, Jill, about, like, for example, that woman you were talking about, he says those things happen daily where he works, because where he works is a school for disabled kids. It's like a transition program. He works with kids who are like in their late teens, early 20s. I would say, I think it's like between ages was either 16 or 17 to either, I think
It's
so up to
21.
no, actually
Yep.
20. Well, actually, no, it's 22 because when I
Really?
was in, well, because, and I know that for a fact because I've told you guys before, I was in transition myself, although I didn't really like how it was going. But you were there until your 22nd birthday. And but one difference is, unlike when you were in high school, even when you turn 18, you still got to finish up the school year regardless. In
Right.
this case, once you hit 22, that's
You're done.
it. You're done.
Yeah.
So on your the day after your 22nd birthday, you're out of there.
You're officially out. But for me, I ended up leaving a year early because I was pretty much still a student in my high school, like literally for 7 years. I was there between 2007 up till 2014. I could have stayed till February of 2015, but there was no reason for me to do so because I had a job. I already kind of had things ready to go for myself. So I officially graduated from high school, which by then that was not long after my 21st birthday. So to me, it was more appropriate to have left then than I did originally. Well, a lot sooner.
And that's because you were in a good predicament.
Yes, I was.
Right. You had a support system that helped from day one
Yes.
and knew how to help from day
Yeah.
one.
And a
Scott,
larger support
I didn't know that. I would, being you, I would make a joke out of that acronym, but no, I didn't know you had that. So
I know
do
it
you
was
still
so
have
hard not to
triggers?
joke with Scott on that one, but
Yeah.
it was hard.
What's that,
Do you-
Adrian?
Do you still have triggers, Scott?
Oh, I thought you were asking me that. I didn't know he had PTSD.
Oh, well, I didn't either. Scott, I mean, I guess I should have, but
Well,
Tom?
Scott, to be perfectly honest, and the same with all of us, he's been through some shit.
oh yeah, absolutely.
We all have. I do want to answer one question up here that we did not get to. Well, actually, there's two of them. First of all, Jill,
Yeah, I was going to
Really?
get to that
Okay.
too.
Donald was he was going to be on here in case we weren't able to get our special guest. But even at that, right now he is probably still doing his karate class, so it'd be at least another 45 minutes before he could be on. And also, Anthony was asking if Angelia has trouble with sense of time. She has no sense of time. So for her, it's not one of those cases where she has to have meal at a certain
Yeah.
minute.
Mhm.
She's not one of those where, okay, we're in the car, we're going somewhere. If I take a different way, she's going to react to that.
Yeah.
She has no concept of really anything.
One thing she does have a very good concept on is you and Grandpa.
She does.
Like, I mean, you can see her face change
Yeah.
when either one of you walk in the room. You can see it, and you can see her whole mannerism change.
She does understand love. She does understand emotion. She does.
Yes.
She does do that. And also, even though she doesn't verbalize anything like what Jill was saying, but she does have her own way of letting us know certain things. It's just a matter of us learning what she's telling us, and that takes time, a lot of time.
And it changes.
It does. It really does.
For her, not so much.
Oh, for her, not for her.
Yeah, like if she's one to let us know something, it's always the same thing each time for that particular instant. Like if she wants to be rocked, she's going to sit in the chair and she'll do this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're going to rock her.
Mhm.
Things like that. But she doesn't change her way of telling us for the same thing is going to be that. So it's not like, hey Nick, I'm going to the grocery store, and then the next day, hey Nick, I'm going to wherever, but I'm still going to the same place.
Oh, that's a good question Scott just had.
Oh, yeah.
Surprisingly, no, it does not.
What
Dad
about
and-
the first time you came to see her after the accident? I know you were kind of scared that she might react.
It took her about a minute to recognize me, because everything was changed. Eye patch. I had to cover that trach that was in my throat. My mouth was wired shut, so when I would speak, I had a different accent.
Right.
So I had to say a few words over that minute, and then finally,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know
So that
made
didn't
you
like
feel
freak
good.
her out.
What's that?
That didn't freak her out once she realized that's daddy.
Nothing freaks her out like you think it would. Like you're watching a scary movie and this horrific scene comes up and you're like, oh, I can't watch that. I can't see that. That is not the case for her.
That's really, I gotta say, it's really surprising because and I'm not talking about people who have autism or disabilities. Like I think we've watched countless shows of where people are like being interviewed who knew somebody or the person themselves who got seriously injured, like in an accident, or as you guys know, I watch a lot of the weather and storm disaster. Like, someone, if, for example, someone got tossed in the car by a tornado and all of a sudden they are horrifically injured by it. And that you talk to someone else that was close, they go, oh, I went to go visit that person in the hospital, but looked so unrecognizable with the injuries. It scared me just the way how they looked. So we hear this countless times when it comes to those type of accidents, but it's really surprising in her case that she didn't show any like frightened reaction at all.
She did not. It's almost like she doesn't even really see what's on the surface.
And that's what I believe, because the way she interacts with you and your dad, she feels energy like we do. We have to practice to do that. We have to be taught to do that. I'm sure as babies we didn't, but there's some of us that can feel energy before we see people. Like, you practice this way. You're standing in a line in a grocery store. Somebody's behind you. Don't look. Feel them. Feel their energy. Is it male or female? Is it, do they give off a bad vibe? Do they give off a good vibe? And then look. Then talk to them. See if you're right.
With most people, she will come right up to you and love on you. But there is the rare occasion where it's like she doesn't want anything to do with somebody.
Hey,
Nope.
speaking of kiddos, mine just got home.
Which
You're
one?
Way up there. You're way up there.
Hello.
What you
Hi there.
doing?
Oh, that's a long drop.
He
Is
just got.
football over yet, dude?
No, they play their biggest rival
Oh.
Friday. Our volleyball team lost. He stayed to watch the girls' volleyball team.
State championship.
I bet he did.
At Ole Miss.
It was the state
Well-
championship.
There is something I do want to touch on, and Scott, I would like to use you for an example.
Give me 1 second. I got to take dinner out of the oven. I'm listening.
Okay, the example that I'm going to use is not a true story on Scott. It's just something that I'm going to come up with as an example as far as the PSTD and what you were talking about, Nick. Certain things that you might see on the TV that you can't.
PTSD. You
So-
said PSTD.
Yeah. I'm not thinking straight.
I got you covered.
So as everybody knows, Scott's a veteran.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's say Scott went to Vietnam or Korea and seen some really, really bad stuff. Okay. and that stuff is enough to give you that PTSD. Okay. There may be certain things in movies that he cannot watch because it's going to trigger that, and all of a sudden he's back over there.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people understand that when people go through something like that.
Well, if you guys remember too, I went through something like that a few months ago, not by watching somebody, but someone from my past that did a lot of bad things while I was growing up.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. It is the exact same concept. And that's basically what was happening with Angelia when she was going through the hallways there at Easter Seals. It's not that, okay, I'm seeing this is taking me back to where I was. She was back where she was.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I did not think we were going to be talking about this for 40 minutes.
I didn't think
You
there
know
was a
what?
question I wanted to get to Jill. Like, this is an interesting one. She was asking, can she learn some sign language? Because that could be helpful for children who have a hard time verbally speaking.
No, but I will say this: there was one thing that she did learn with sign language, and that was this.
Oh, that okay.
That's sign language for more. Hi, Carl.
Hello, Carl. Good to see you.
That was actually one of the things that she learned in ABA, because she would do this.
Tom says he constantly asks me what I remember about school to help the kids that he's working with, and I try my best to try to help out, but like I said, with certain individuals I had growing up that caused very much a lot of problems for me. It's hard to try to really educate modern day kids at school because I went through a different life, and it was not. I'm not saying, obviously, of course, I always want to say it every time. I'm not saying that school was absolutely horrible. I still had a lot of great moments, but I've always described my school life as being 50-50. But that was mainly elementary and middle school. By the time I entered high school, things were I still had a lot of problems, not with staff members anymore, but it was still stressful on certain cases. But if I was to make a choice of going back to like my elementary and middle school years and also my high school years, I would definitely go back to my high school years because it was definitely a lot better.
Yeah, I don't think that there's ever been one person who did not have at least one.
Good night, Scott. Have a good
All right,
night.
I gotta say it before we get too serious. Good night, King
Push.
Scott.
Good
What are
night.
you Hey, Jeff, Amy's learning at this moment.
I remember that you both were wearing those Burger King clowns.
I had got him his Burger King hat.
I never saw that picture, but I heard about it.
So yeah, he
Posted it, and then I think Scott also posted it too.
they had gone somewhere to eat, and I had gone to me and Michael had gone to Burger King to eat, and they had Burger King hats all over the restaurant. So I stole them and took one to Scott.
Thanks, Kate. What were you gonna say, Jeremy? You were gonna say something along the lines before Eileen said something about.
Before I interrupted.
Yeah. The hell was that already?
I don't remember.
Did King Scott?
Damn it, Eileen.
Okay. I think I was going to say something about
There we go.
the 14-hour day that Scott was going to be working. That's harsh.
Yeah.
But at least it's a Friday night.
You know what?
Wait,
Speaking
it's a
of
what night?
Friday.
You know what? Speaking of that picture, guess what Scotty just sent me? Okay, I know you can't. Damn it, can't show it through the green
Can't see
screen.
it. That's the
Yeah,
whole
no,
thing.
he sent me the picture.
My son just realized I had changed positions and he's been working out and he's actually getting pretty buff, but he does not like people to see him without a shirt on. Like your dude.
Some people are just like that.
I'm kind of like that too, actually, believe it or not.
Even if it's just a shirt that you don't have on, for some people, it makes him feel completely naked.
Oh, but he'll go outside in his underwear, but he will not let people see him without a shirt on. I can't. I guess he's proud of his below.
Can't help you there.
Yeah, don't know what to say about that one. Jill just also said personally, she still gets panic attacks here and there. I usually know my trigger sometimes. I don't know what will happen, but it helps to rebound oneself, slow breath. Picks a point to focus on, like meditation. It's a mindset to refocus.
That is something I tell a lot of my friends when they say that they have anxiety real bad. I tell them, just sit down somewhere, close your eyes, and then take in as big a breath as you can, as quick as you can, and just slowly let it out. Then take that big gulp of air, slowly let it out. I do that sometimes. I told some of my friends to do that, and they come back and say, "Hey, that really helps." And I think the reason being is because when you get anxiety, your heart starts pumping really fast.
Yeah.
And when you take in that big breath of air, your lungs are expanding, and it's right around your heart, so it's helping your heart slow down.
Jill makes a good point about like what she said about thinking that your daughter gets a sudden panic attack, as well as some of those scenarios. Counting to 10 can also help.
The bad thing about that is that she won't know to do it.
Yeah. This was something I forgot to show earlier. This was a response to what you were asking, Jeremy. I forgot to show this since knowing Kate's still on. This was her answer because you were asking about how things were for her out in Europe. I forgot to show this earlier.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah, sorry to hear that you're not feeling so good, Kate.
You better get over the flu, Kate. We got to have you on the show next week. Stephen King show. Come on, Kate, get well.
Oh, she meant to ground yourself again, not rebound.
That's well, we know what she,
Yeah.
No comment.
Jan, breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for release for 4. Hold no, breathe in for 4. Do it 4 times. Jeez, that's a lot of 4s.
I've actually just started as of last night.
Who's this?
Doing Pilates at home and then working on a little bit of yoga at home.
Just trying to figure out who this Facebook user is.
That's what I'm looking. That is Robin Plant.
Oh, Robin. Is that
Hello, Robin? Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you.
So you started Pilates last night?
Yeah, I started Pilates at home. I'm on a Pilates challenge with a friend at work, and then which I won the challenge last night. But and then I started doing some yoga just to kind of try to figure everything out again.
Oh man, going into oh boy, you're stretching things that have probably never been stretched in 30 years.
Right. No,
in
the past 20 years. Hello, I'm only 24.
Yep, of course, you're 24.
Okay. For the past 20 years.
And 24 she is.
Jill and I and Jan are all
Plus
24.
15.
Breathe. It's box breathing and is scientifically proven to work.
Oh, I'm not talking to Todd. I tried to get him to come
The
on. And he decided,
Todd is in.
He figured something like work or something was more important. I don't know, something like that.
You don't say no to the Todd. Come on now.
No, I say no to Todd.
I said no to her.
If you ever hear me put the in front of his name, you know I'm drunk. Did he fall out of the chair? Oh,
Okay, so okay,
A yoga class.
Jeremy, I'm
we
gonna
can do
send you
online
this.
yoga.
Oh, hi there.
Okay.
Hello, Ben.
I'm gonna send you this. This is so cool. I just got the mold for this today. Zach got it for me. And then I can find the other one.
While you're doing that, I just want to see what Tom here says. Today at school, we had OT sensory class. All the students sit in the dark with a bubble machine and lights to help them relax. That's new. I've never heard of that before.
That'd be cool. I need that in my office.
Yoga is a sin. What?
That's only because he can't even touch his nose. He's so out of shape.
Well, I don't know what to say about that for the Todd.
Well, I say plenty on that one,
Hey, Nikki.
but I'm not because I don't want to get kicked off the air.
Yeah, I don't think so. I no comment.
Ooh, that's-
Everybody, we're quiet.
It's all for respect for the Todd, which you should still be
Quiet.
called.
Quiet.
Hey, Nikki.
I will say the Leanne, the Denise, but not that name.
No. He is the Todd. He is. He'll always be the Todd. Right, Jeremy?
Yeah.
See, he agrees with me.
Y'all were smoking that same stuff that Leanne was smoking.
Eileen that instilled that into me, but Ernie and Denise also instilled the part.
They gave y'all the same drugs he gave Leanne years and years and years ago that she's still on.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Chanel, pour the Todd.
Or that. Oh, that doesn't even sound right.
You might as well just start calling that, Eileen. Everyone else is.
No, I don't.
Todd, if I ever call you that, you know you're in trouble, right? Are you still on?
No, he is really in big trouble if you use his middle name.
What the hell is his middle name?
No, I don't know. Hold on.
Mr. the Todd. Thanks, Nikki.
Even that doesn't sound right.
It doesn't.
Todd, you have got to get rid of the duh.
Oh, come on. No. You were just on my side a minute ago.
Well, I am, but when you put another word in front of it,
Yeah.
it just doesn't work. Because at that point, your tongue does not want to cooperate with the words that you're trying to say.
Well, I just hit up my sources to figure out what the middle name is. So I'm waiting for my source to tell me.
Your source might get in a lot of trouble.
King the Todd. Oh my God. Todd is his middle name.
Of course.
Of course it would. So it doesn't matter which.
So
name I'm referring
apparently,
to.
the is his first name.
Yeah. Oh, why
So
did I?
really, his name is the Eskew. But yeah, I'm not really sure what we're going to do. I already sent out a communication about seeing if we can work things back to where she can be able to do full days on Tuesdays and Thursdays like she was. Because we just and there's another thing that really kind of ticked me off about the entire situation when the idea of her going to Easter Seals came up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They told us they'd be able to come and get her at ABA and take her to Easter Seals. Then I would go and pick her up when she's done. Everything gets
What
set
a
up.
noise.
Oh, we can't come and get her. What are you talking about? Yeah, we just don't have the staffing for it. You know, why did you tell us that you could? And the director said, I honestly don't remember saying we did that. And I even talked to the director at ABA. She said she was pretty sure she said that they could come and get her.
I'm not laughing at you, Jeremy. I promise.
That's what Baton said.
Absolutely.
Quit texting Leanne.
So now that kind of backs me into the corner where I had to go get her at ABA and then take her to Easter Seals. So it's almost like I am playing pass along with her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. When I pick her up, I want to bring her home. I don't want to
Yeah.
just go somewhere else and drop her off.
No, you don't.
No.
So
That's not fair to her.
No, it's not. Because she sees me, I'm
Mhm.
coming home.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's, well, up until today, she sees me. I take her to the one place she doesn't want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it felt like that we were backed into the corner with that whole situation because they assured us they'd be able to come and pick her up and take her there.
Yeah, Kate's even
That's
saying that
gonna
there's
take
a few
more
red
work.
flags. There's a
Yeah.
few. Yeah.
And
So
then
will they not pay to have her a full-time, like, or at least a majority of time sitter or something at your house to help out?
well, if
Is it beyond that point?
it is what? Say that again.
Is it beyond that point?
Well, what you said.
Oh, can like she have like a full-time or a semi-full-time sitter at the house that they would pay for? Or is it beyond that point?
So basically, you're talking home health.
Yeah.
We had actually looked into that, but the thing is, with our thing, we don't need somebody there all the time or even every single day. We just need help on certain days. And we have talked to several. No, we have to do like 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and we don't need that. We just need like 2 hours here, 2 hours there. I don't want 40 hours of somebody here.
Right.
Fine.
Here
That
they
would
have-
give you that time to do stuff around the house and
Mm-hmm.
things
Yeah.
like that.
Here they have that, and it's called respite.
Respite.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's basically where she was at for Easter Seals and Vernon Manor for that whole year last year. It was a respite care. You know, it's just that there's a whole lot of things that just don't add up, you know.
I know. It just again,
And
if you would think
honestly-
like what's that,
We
Adrian?
need to talk to Jan. We need to talk to Jan because she would be the one to, if you even have an inkling
Respite. It's a good program.
where you'd want to go. She used to go around to different nursing homes and respite care centers and check them out and shut them down. That was her job.
Oh,
She would
wow.
act as an employee
Oh man.
and then shut them down if
Jeez.
necessary.
So
And
basically, like a
Oh.
different version of Undercover Boss.
Uh-huh. Yep. And
Jen's
I'll
still
tell
on,
you,
speaking of which.
she would be the one to be able to tell you the ins and outs, what to look for, how to do it. Yeah.
Undercover.
Oh, here's another thing about Easter Seals. When she was there last year, she was living there. She was living
Mhm.
first in that group home, and then there was an issue with another. This is what doesn't make sense. She was in a group home, and then there was another group home elsewhere, somewhere in Fort Wayne, and that home somehow ended up having a drive-by shooting.
Oh no.
Oh,
So here's what they did: they moved the people from that house to the one that she was in, and then everybody in the house that she was in went into the main facility.
Okay.
And so my question was, why didn't those people go into the main facility? Why did these have to go?
Mm-hmm.
But we never did find that out. Is that selfish on my part? Yes, it is. Because that's my daughter.
exactly. Exactly.
That's the thing. If you don't advocate for her loudly, nobody else is going to.
Well,
That's why, Jan, let her find out anybody is going into the hospital. Let her find out. I'm going to tell you right now. She's going to be right there saying, you better say this, you better say that. Do you need me to come down there? And I promise you, you say no. You do not need her to come down there because hell will be raised.
well, so she was there at the main facility, and this is a pretty good sized building. And she had plenty of room to run around, which is what she enjoys.
Mm-hmm.
There came a time where, well, we're not going to be able to keep her because we are shutting down our night shift, meaning nobody can stay overnight here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we got the process moving over to Vernon Manor, which is there in that city that Chrissy lives, an hour away from here.
Yeah.
So that's how she ended up over there. It was nice having her at Easter Seals because that's only 15 minutes from here.
Right. Right.
And I could go there anytime we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Jill was asking, can you give at-home care or is this home respite care a try? Even Jeremy, even though even the part-time one, a few days a week, give it a try, see how you all like it.
See, that's what I was talking about.
That's what it was. Okay.
Well, I was explaining that before she asked that.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. See, I guess I looked at it differently. I thought it was a different question entirely.
No, but that question actually goes in with what I was talking about.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's not that we need somebody every single day. We don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
But you may need that, is what I'm wondering, because eventually, I mean, let's be real, there will become a time where you're going to need that help. Well, she's going to have to get used to some, other people being around her, but that gives you time to do your writing, to do your music, to do yard work, whatever you need to do. Go take care of your dad. So that's stuff that
She lives at Dad's house.
Huh?
She lives at Dad's house. She has always lived at his house because of my job.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing that. I've always heard you talk about it a lot, so I know that all too well.
And he's just right across the street from me.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty's back.
He's my
Yeah,
baby.
It is so convenient. It is so convenient. Most people don't have. A lot of people don't have parents living in the same town as they do.
Right.
I have always been very fortunate, with the exception of a year where I was within a mile of my parents.
Yep.
And that year that I wasn't, that was when Dad retired and he and Mom moved down to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 hurricanes wiped them out and they had to come back up here.
Mm-hmm.
Home Innovative Services, Bright Star, all have care for home care.
Innovative Services is even here.
Isn't
I know
that pretty much all over the country?
I'm assuming, yeah.
I've
Or
never
she
heard.
wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I've never heard of innovative services.
Look them up. I think they're
Yeah.
there too.
Come in with help with meds, therapy, teaching, cooking, etc., house cleaning.
Yeah.
It probably would be because Fort Wayne, it's the second biggest city in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense to have the big companies here. But here's the thing: just because you're the big company, you're the mainstream company, does not necessarily mean you're the best option.
Right.
Oh, it's definitely not here.
But
Yeah.
a lot of times that's the worst one.
Innovative services. Now, I do
Oh.
know they were very good with Andrew. They did. They tried. And then the other company overran them.
So apparently, Nikki says they got respite care also in Australia as well. You can use them 24/7.
Hi.
Yeah, and I do know that at some point it's going to get to where Angela is going to have to go somewhere because Dad's up there in age. And then once I get to a point, it's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no way really around it.
Yeah, there's no way around it. And the problem is,
Yeah.
she had already gone through a period where she didn't see Daddy or Grandpa for 2 months.
During the accident and when he was sick. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going to happen when it gets to she doesn't see us ever again?
Your ears are wet.
For her, that makes me worried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
We are all she's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Are you on any support groups for people with autistic children? The reason I'm asking is because that is a question a lot of parents have. And if some parents have already been through it and they stay on the pages. I mean, obviously not the forever if they're on the page, but or they've seen people go through that and maybe able to give you some advice. And you might even find some local ones in your area.
I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I wanted to actually ask you, Jeremy, since seeing that Nikki's here, if you don't mind, if she can come on, because she has a daughter of her own that's got, I believe it's autism. Is it okay if I send her something? Because she would like to say a few things about it.
Oh well, yeah, she would definitely have some insight on that one. So yeah, go ahead.
she's been messaging me, and she figures that she could actually say a couple things herself. So what I'm going to do then is I'll send her the link. Who's this Facebook user?
That's Chris.
Hey,
Finder.
Chris.
Chris is on the Universal page here. Chris, I'm going to give you a
Chris
link.
who?
Chris Finder.
He's Nick's best friend with the jump scares.
Okay.
Oh God! You have to.
I was
tell
thinking
my best
someone
friend.
else, and I was like, no. Give me that delete button for a minute.
Well,
Yeah,
we don't
Chris is
have
good.
anything like that on StreamYard. That was on that program that Dennis had it.
It's on Twitch.
Yeah.
Well, it's on Twitch, but he had his that program that he was using. I think it was Streamlabs.
How are you, sweetheart?
We
So,
still have
Chris,
yet to have found that video. Speaking of which,
which video?
when we were on the show, we still haven't found that show yet.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, you have? Oh, you do have it. I guess I haven't. I guess I must have missed it.
Oh, Jeremy, did you get those pictures?
I haven't just. Well, I got the Amazon links.
Oh, they're just links.
Yeah, these are links.
They're not supposed to be links. They're supposed to be pictures.
Well, I can show the pictures.
Hold on, I can screenshot it.
hang on.
Links is not what I was after.
Well, here's
Y'all gonna miss me next week. I know y'all will.
Yeah. See, that is so cute.
Okay, now Will,
this is what I
have you gotten it yet, Adrian?
Yes,
Or he just
Just
ordered?
got it.
Let me know how it comes out because I've gotten some not that one's pretty cool. That one's cool. But I got some molds and I put made some candles. I cannot get the candles out of the mold. I'm gonna have to cut the mold.
No, don't cut the mold.
I can't get the candle out without breaking the
you can.
candle.
Yes, you can. Don't do
I
that.
have tried everything. What's your advice?
Put it in the freezer.
I'll
What kind of mold
try
is it?
It's a candle mold. It's a silicone candle mold.
No shit. What kind?
It's, like the shape.
Yeah.
It's a skull hand holding a crystal ball.
Okay. Put it in
So
the
the
freezer.
fingers keep breaking when I try to do anything.
so basically you're trying to break into her like people have been trying to break into Lucy back there.
Ooh. They lied to you. That's not a candle mold. That's a silicone. That's a
I
mold.
was gonna say, isn't that
for
more silicon?
resin.
I'm about to say, yeah, I'm like, I'm just cut into that sucker.
Oh man. Those things aren't cheap either.
No. But the candle smells really good. I think it's my best scent I've ever done on a candle.
Okay, so put resin and spray the damn thing with that scent. I'm not cutting a damn mold.
Jumped onto YouTube instead.
Let me see your name.
Jan, are you still here?
Hey, Nikki.
Hey, sweetheart. How are
Hey,
you?
hey everyone, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm good. How are you?
Sorry, I do have to say, if Todd is on, I love you, Todd.
The Todd.
No, I love you, Todd.
Todd.
Let me see if I can find.
Yeah, Jan's still here.
Jan, what is the CRBI? I'm just curious of what that is.
What is it again?
I'm asking Jan what CRBF is.
CRBF.
Yeah.
Never heard of that before.
Yeah, I just want to know.
Oh, it's a group home.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
24-hour care.
Yeah, we've got respite here in Australia as well. So
Okay, so Nikki, tell me, do the people in your country take care of your mentally disabled and elderly better than the people in America? Please tell me they do.
I believe yes. We have a company called the National Disability Services. So carers like yourself and myself get paid to look after our children. Also, we have funding for therapy, etc., what they need. And also when they get older, they have funding for facilities such as respite if they need it.
Because the way that it goes here is that a lot of companies don't really want to take care of you, even though that's what they're for.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I just wonder if maybe you have a better system down there than you do up here.
I think most people have a better system than we do at this point.
Mhm.
Honestly,
I believe it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Our priorities have went I don't even know where, but they're not here. They're
They've gone
not where they should be.
So wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, it does. Where you're from, is there like a state care, or is it everybody gets the same health care?
So good question. So with us, it's state and also federal. So each state, so say Western Australia, which I'm from, is funding, and also you can have it around Australia as well if you need it. But I just do at the moment I'm just doing WA funding. So yep. And she gets a talking device because my daughter's. I'll give you a little bit of history about my child for people that don't know. So my daughter's 6 years old. She's nonverbal. She has autism level 2, which is high functioning autism. She also has global developmental delay disorder, ADD, and some other disabilities.
Did you say autism
Oh,
level
yeah, she gets
2?
funding for a talk. Yes, so high functioning autism.
Okay, here we don't have levels as far
Yeah,
as
that's
no. I
No, we have a spectrum, but they don't like levelize the spectrum. They'll say high on the spectrum, low on the spectrum, and I don't even know which is high and which is low.
or sometimes there's something is
FYI.
with a different name, like Asperger's, which
Yeah.
is autism. Now,
yeah, Asperger's. I'm part of a group with people who are part
Me
of it
too.
who have Asperger's. Yeah. Oh, you are too. Okay.
They are Asperger's is a very, very intelligent
Yes.
spectrum. They're way more intelligent than I guess what you'd call normal people, if there is such thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that.
I wouldn't know because I'm far from normal.
Me neither.
There's just not a diagnosis for me yet. When they find it, I'm sure I'll know.
All good.
But
Everything you make it-
yeah, I mean, used to when I was a kid, there wasn't ADD, ODD. ODD to me is bullshit. That's exactly what it is to me because
ODD.
oppositional defiance disorder, which means you don't want a damn well mind. That's what that means. You just damn well don't want to mind.
I've actually never heard
And
it before.
Yeah, I've never heard of
I've
it.
never heard of that
diagnosed
either.
I thought you meant to say OCD.
That's what I thought too.
ODD. And
Well, see,
I'm going to
Jan
tell
knows.
you what. Yeah,
Never
I'm
heard
going to tell you what. My ODD daughter, this, I promise you, this fixes it. There's no more ODD.
Mhm.
It's gone. They told me she has it because she didn't bond with her mother at birth.
I want to highlight this one here because
Mhm.
that is
Yeah.
one.
I hate that when people say that.
That's
It
yeah. I
is.
just clicked
It
on that one. That's so true. I mean, what Denny just said. Yeah.
How
That's
far have we
that's
really
common
come?
sense right there because it does not get any more real than that.
I know.
And it is so incredibly sad.
It
that
is.
we as a society have gotten to that point that we do that.
Well, if you kind of look at, and I'm not
It's
trying to
never
change
changed.
I'm not trying to change the subject, but if you look past some of our, like even some of our own historic and haunted mental institutions that no longer operate. Like for example,
Right.
if you remember, Jeremy, we were originally supposed to go to Penhurst earlier this year. When that place was in operation because they had people who were of physical and mental disabilities. And I still remember this was back, of course, when Ghost Adventures used to be going. They investigated that place. They spoke with a historian, and the historian would say for those that sent their disabled family members to Penhurst, they often would usually say to those family members, it is just best that you send your disabled child to this facility and get on with your life. You don't ever have to think of them anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I also remember specifically on an episode of Ghost Hunters. where
Yeah.
they were doing a residential house that was a very, very old house. They had found something like a little cubby hole with a padlock, a very old padlock on it. And they
I
discovered
remember that.
that the old residences from way back when, they had a mentally disabled child and kept that child locked in that room.
Oh, jeez.
That was almost everywhere. I mean, how much
Yep.
healthcare has not come anywhere
Yeah, even
from
back
that
then.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they used to, now we say from the South, you hide your crazy up in the attic
Yep.
and you just don't let them be seen. That is really what they did.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
how
That is
far
so
have we
wrong.
really come from that?
Well, I
Well-
know we've got this place down the road, Hudspeth, and there's people literally that would drop their kids off, never go see them again, and they would be driving like really expensive cars, and if you didn't have a place, you couldn't hide your kids, nowadays, but you could sure enough ship them off somewhere and just say, forget
Right.
you, and leave them there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, there's even
People can do that. I was just saying earlier,
Yeah, no.
I did not like the fact that I was picking her up at ABA
never do that.
and then taking her to Easter Seals
yeah.
Right.
because
Well,
I feel like I'm just
As
playing-
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this too, because again, another place I could think of, which actually got turned into a documentary film. Again, it's another historic hospital. It's no longer in operation. This is in New York, Letchworth Village. Again, another place I learned from the paranormal shows. And that spot in particular, what bothered me, especially about Letchworth, was that, like I said, in 1972, there was a film that was shot there that focused on the way how the disabled were treated. Not just at Letchworth Village, but at Willowbrook Hospital. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that documentary film. It's called Willowbrook, The Last Great Disgrace. You guys ever seen that? Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it.
It's hosted by Geraldo Rivera. And this was before he really started getting.
I can't stand that man. Oh, I can't stand that.
Well, this was
Keep
back.
it right now. Shut.
Yeah, well, this was back when I think he was a lot more professional before he started going all these different directions. But the way how he documented, like, what happened at Letchworth and Willowbrook, like the first thing they would even ask, saying, why are these patients unclothed, or where is everybody? Like, why is no one helping them out? And they also had somebody who was like, he was of higher rank. I think he was from I don't know, from the government or something, but they went through that area, and he had said when they visited this spot, he said he had been to different, mental institutions. He's been to different prisons, juvenile facilities. And this place that he went to, Letchworth, it was by far the worst conditions that he's seen for people with disabilities that he's ever seen. He said he had never seen anything like it. It was bad.
He came to town right after the shooting, and he point blank told one of the girl's best friends she wasn't crying enough, get off television.
Oh, jeez.
What the?
So I hate that man.
So I have to bring that Jan was talking about, and I don't know how many of y'all know.
Yeah.
And I know she won't have a problem, but she said Pat, which is her son that committed suicide.
I'm sorry.
That boy, of course, I didn't meet him personally. I've met him now, but I didn't meet him in life. He is one of those that when he comes around, you know it. You don't have to look, he's there. But from the stories, they diagnosed him with ODD, like she said. So that tells me, number one, ODD is bullshit. Because he bonded with his mother immediately, I guarantee it. They both almost died together at birth. The bonding was not an issue. And this man, he was 6 foot tall boy, 14 years old, huge. But that man, yes, he would take off and go do things he wasn't supposed to go do, just take off walking when he wasn't supposed to. Police would go get him, but I'm going to tell you what, that man, when the police did get him, he'd say, yes, sir. No, sir.
Yep.
There was not a defiance. He'd be like, I'm sorry I argued with you, and I'm sorry whatever the case might be. He had the most respect, more than any 14-year-old I know now.
Right. The one thing I've noticed is with mental disabilities, everyone's like, well, why don't I say it? I'm like, because it's a mental disability. And then you have to explain to them what is autism. And then it's, why is your child scream? Why was your child groaning that tone? I'm like, this is how she communicates to me. Yes, you may not understand it, but please come and ask me. Don't just start shouting at my child. Like,
right.
Oh.
Right. And that is something we have normalized in the States is, and mostly through social media, but, feel free to ask a parent.
Yeah, exactly.
Or ask a person. It doesn't matter if it's a child's parent or the parent themselves or an adult. you know, hey, what's going on? Is there a way I can help you? Is there something
Exactly.
I can do to help? They may say no, and that's perfectly fine.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
but to be able to say, hey, let me understand what's going on. Before social media, I'm showing my age.
No, you're right.
Wait, was there ever a thing before? We're only 24,
Shut up.
Adrian.
No,
no.
you're 24, Eileen.
I actually have something to add to that, but really quick, Sean. Yeah, I am complaining, but if you had heard what we have been talking about for the last hour and a half, you'd understand why.
You'll
Yeah,
be complaining.
exactly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I-
You'd be complaining with
cut.
us.
right of something that's been going on over the last couple of weeks. But to go along with what you were talking about, Adrian, I had a friend of mine who she asked me if she can get some advice because she's got a situation going on right now in her family, and she also has an autistic daughter. She's 26 years old,
Mhm.
living with her parents.
The daughter's 26 or the lady is?
Her daughter lives with her daughter's living with the grandparents.
Mhm.
Daughter's living with the grandparents. So now there's a situation going on where she can't stay. I know you were joking, I know, but I just wanted to let you know. Yeah,
We're not just doing a bitch session.
It's just the subject you don't joke about. Yeah.
actually we are.
Yeah.
If you think about it, we
Well,
are doing a
kind
big
of.
question, but
Yeah.
But we're getting good advice out of it, which is what we need.
it's something that needs to be bitched about.
Exactly.
Oh, he was just
Because no one's
joking.
gonna know about it. That's okay.
Yeah, we know.
But yeah, I knew he was joking for that.
That's
but
right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So she now needs to find a place for her daughter to go.
Mhm.
So she called me and we talked on the phone, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes. And I was telling her about where Angelia is at. And I also did throw in, okay, this was the only place that would be able to take my daughter. I know there are other places, but this is the only one that I can tell you about. There are good things, there are bad things. It's going to depend on who you talk to.
Excuse
That's
me.
Bless you.
no, that's terrible. Don't ever go there. You're going to get things on both sides, but at least I was able to give her a direction to go.
Yeah.
Right.
And I felt good about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And if nothing else, that's, you know, yes, we're paranormal, but, you know, there is real life things as well outside of the paranormal that are
Well,
living that we need
I'm a
to.
care of. Ooh.
But it does feed into the paranormal because in order to understand people that have gone, if you know, you've got to understand all aspects of the living as well.
Right.
Right.
And I think being able to say, look, okay, so Nikki understands the situation. Jeremy understands the situation. Nick is in the situation.
Yeah.
Eileen, I'm sure you have dealt with many people doing what you do in any aspect of life. So, you know, and I've been everywhere. So, my view on it, and I'd like to hear everybody else's too, because we need other people to understand how we feel about certain things. Would you rather somebody, you know, like Nikki said, yell at your kid or scowl at your kid, or even as an adult, if it was me, look at you funny? Or would you rather they ask, how can I help? Or okay, I understand, you know, the child might be scared of me. I'll back away. Or,
Right.
you know, you don't need to know why the child's scared of you or why the child doesn't want touched or want you up in their space. Or even an adult.
Okay.
Mhm.
Would you rather they ask or would you rather they just walk away without understanding?
I'm going to chime in on that one because this happens with Angelia a lot. Now, I don't yell at her
Right.
like most people do, but here's what happens. I'm in the living room. She's in the kitchen, and all of a sudden she starts looking for something to grab. And there have been many times where she's quick. She is faster than the flash.
She is like a 3-year-old learning to crawl. Yank, yank,
Yeah.
yank.
And there have been many times where she had actually grabbed a knife by the blade.
Oh,
Yeah. That's when you need to raise your voice a bit. Yeah.
And what I have to do is I see if she's starting to grab, I'll go, ah!
Oh
And
yeah,
she'll jump back
Yeah,
like shit.
right.
Then
But she
she'll-
knows that's not normal
Right.
for you to do. So she's done something. She's gonna go, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I do that, but that is not because I'm yelling at her to yell at her. I am doing that to save
Yeah.
her.
yeah,
It's a
because
safety
basically saving her
safety
from
thing. Yeah.
injury. Yeah.
No
Exactly.
different than my 2-year-old, well, now 3-year-old granddaughter.
Right. It is. Denny, I had no idea that he was, but that man's brilliant. Which
Mhm.
obviously I'm very oblivious to all of this. I see people as humans. I don't see them as their diagnosis.
Disability.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it. We're good. Okay, I'm going to show apparently how dumb I am because I did not know for a very long time that Nick was. I had no idea.
I think Nick like opened up one day, and that's when
No, somebody
I kinda
actually had
guessed.
to tell me, and that somebody was Jeremy.
Yeah.
I'm about to say,
Because
even
we're sitting here talking, and I'm like,
Friends.
he goes, I'm going to put him in the autism thing. And I said, what for? And he said, well, we're going to discuss autism. I said, what for? What would Nick know? He doesn't have any children. He's like,
well, it's like when
you
found
didn't
out
know?
about-
I'm like,
And to be perfectly honest, Nick, I don't even remember how we got into autism.
I do.
You
You
told
talked
me.
about your daughter. We were going to have a show.
Looks like Nikki lost connection.
She'll come back.
Yeah, I know she will.
well, it's like I didn't know about Jeremy.
But I
So-
need your help.
Oh, here she
Yeah,
is.
Jenny
Now
and
she's
I
coming
need your
back.
help. When I was born, I was
So-
diagnosed with low spectrum. I was unable to. Wow, really? You
Wow.
overcome a lot, dude. Yeah,
Well, you
I
know-
would have never known you had it either, Anthony. I've seen pictures of you. I have talked to you. I had no idea.
You know, the other thing too to bring up
Thank you.
as well is that, yeah, I'm trying to remember which conversation that was, Jeremy. Adrian, you said you remember. Which exact one was that?
It was when we were still with the other
Yeah.
network. We were going to do a special on autism on our show. And
I remember we did not necessarily on that show, but we did several episodes on autism because we did a special on 13th Dimension on that too.
Mhm.
and
I remember
was
that.
when we were on the other network. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's
and that's why I was like, what? Why?
When I was talking, I talked to Jeremy several times, and I don't remember if Adrian, for some reason, I think it was you, but it could have been Jeremy who told me about your hearing. I'm like, what?
Looks like
Yeah,
she's losing her connection
I
again.
didn't know either. Yeah, I had no clue about that either. Obviously, I'm very oblivious to a lot of shit
Well,
because
the thing is, a lot of people don't know that with me because I got range in my voice.
yeah,
Most deaf people don't.
No, they don't. Yeah.
I still wouldn't have ever known, and I wouldn't have
No.
believed it
And there
if
goes.
I
Nikki.
hadn't
I
yelled
think
at
she's
you
having
and
some
got that-
internet
got it
connections.
out.
You've
Must
got
be
that
some internet
Yankee
issue.
accent, but I mean,
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I don't. I didn't know that. I guess I see people, and I don't try to figure out. Oh, are they this? Are they that? Are they?
do you know? I'll never forget. I was pregnant with my youngest son, who y'all saw earlier, who's 15, so almost 16 on Halloween. But
Oh, he's the Halloween baby.
he's a Halloween. baby.
Yay. Awesome.
When I was
Demon
pregnant
child.
with him, my aunt, so he was born whatever 16 years ago was, but they were doing a test that tests for the Down, but it also now tests for spina bifida. And I was talking to my aunt, and obviously I've known her my whole life. She, my dad's little sister. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna get that test. I don't have any of that in my history. She's like, what are you talking about? You don't have it in family history. I said, I don't have anybody in the family with Down. I don't have anybody in the family with spina
Down-
bifida. I don't even know what that is.
Down
She
as
said-
in Down syndrome.
Yes.
We used to be able to look at somebody and tell that.
No, when I was pregnant.
Oh.
And
Okay.
so, anyways,
Sorry, man.
she goes, what do you mean you don't have spina bifida in your family? I'm like, well, I don't know anybody with spina bifida. She goes, what do you think I have? I was like, what do you mean that you have? This is my aunt that I grew up with that was on crutches, that couldn't walk on her own, that wore diapers my whole life. I knew her. Had no clue what she had because she was just my Aunt Sharon.
That's it. We see
And-
people.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, and she goes, well, what are you going to do if he does have it? I said, I guess I'm going to ask you how to raise a child with spina bifida.
That's right. That's right. That's it.
But I
All
mean,
we
that's
can do
the
is
way I've been
learn.
since I was literally met her
Right.
when I was 3 months old. Never, and I'm in my, however old I was at that time, never knew she had spina bifida.
Well, I mean, that's like most of you all, except little Miss Priss, that is going to come next year if I have to kidnap her, have met Zach. And, he has a traumatic brain injury. Now, to some people, that means mentally challenged. Because some people do get that far with it. To other
Sorry, I
people,
dropped in on it.
it means constant headaches. To other people, it means short-term memory loss. I mean, there's lots of, but you'd never know it.
You know how
With
I
them.
know?
Huh?
You know how I know about it?
You say what I think you're going to say, and I'm going to whoop that ass.
I'm good.
He married me. Well, here's the thing. He knew me long before that. So, but seriously, it's a diagnosis. It is not a jail sentence, and it's not a limitation. Any diagnosis is not a limitation. It's like Anthony was saying. Can you watch what? What?
Watch what?
Oh, Chris, what are we watching? You getting?
I think he wants to watch you whoop that ass.
Okay, yeah, you're getting okay. Gotcha. But the only limitations are really what we put on people. Like Anthony said, they told him he was nonverbal. They told him he was high on the spectrum. He had a support system that helped him. If Andrew would have had a support system that helped him, he would be very high functioning right now. He's not. He is not. The system failed him. His parents failed him.
Oh, Chantel. Been a while since I've seen you.
When we
Same
got
here.
him at 17, just 16, barely 17. Yeah. There's not a lot we could do.
That's many years right there that he lost out on.
Oh,
He
Chris.
did. He really did.
He could have had.
He did. And my daughter, which is the reason I brought up, would you rather somebody ask you
Yes.
or walk away? My daughter, I was 17 when I had her. Little blonde hair, blue eyed, little angel. My friends were very, very sparse. I mean, we had my best friend was a big black dude. Big dude. He looked like Fat Albert. Huge.
I hadn't thought about
And,
that. Albert, whatever.
He was over at the house quite often. My daughter started to talk, and I want to say she was 2 or 3. He was sitting in the car in the back with her, and we were going somewhere. And she looked over at him, and she went and started rubbing his skin. And I knew what she was doing, and I wanted to die right there.
I get that too.
And I looked at him, if it had been a stranger, it would have been worse. But I looked at him And he goes, no, don't say a word. Don't say a word. And he just let her do it. And he goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, and he says, she goes, got dirt on you. And he said, sweetheart, I've been trying to get this dirt off me for 16 years. He was 16 at the time.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, oh,
I like the
we're
way
going to
he
have
handled
talk.
it. I like the
Yeah.
way he handled it though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And another time she was in the grocery store about that same age. And there was a lady in a wheelchair. And I think she had a trach. Anyway, she looked a little different. And my daughter kept staring at her and I'm pulling her, going, come on. And trying not to show the lady that I'm pulling her. And she goes, no. Bring her here. Bring her here. I'm like, oh, holy hell. And so I took her over there. I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She goes, no, don't be sorry. Look, she picked her up, put her in her lap. She goes, what's wrong, baby? She goes, I don't know. What's that? Pointing at her throat. And so she explained to her what happened at 2 or 3 years old. I'm like, she should not have to do this. This is not something that should have to happen. This should be taught at home. But she did. And my little girl says, okay. And she hugged her. And there was never any staring again after that. So, you know, I guess it depends on the person's personality. But honestly, how would you rather have that handled?
See, like when it comes to that type of situation, I really wish I could say the same again when I was having my issues at school. When it came to certain individuals, it just never was solved, unfortunately.
Well, right. In school, kids are mean. There's no doubt.
Well, no, it's even worse when it's worse though when it's staff members, because you know I had more issues with staff members than I did with other kids.
Okay, yeah, that's an issue. Yeah.
Because I told you guys about it before, like countless times, and it just, to me, I guess really the best way I could describe it, it was basically the out of control behavior of somebody in their early, like starting with one person, you know, and from a young person too, in her early to mid 20s, with this outlandish power beliefs and that kind of thing. And at the age I'm at now, living with those scars now for the rest of my life, I believe, unfortunately, that there's still people out there that still are kind of carrying on that tradition. If I had some kind of message basically to say for those who are just getting started with that, I would tell them with every ounce of what I have against it, because it's not going to lead those kids, especially those who have mental disabilities, anywhere. I mean, it might lead some of these kids to certain paths that they're never going to be able to return from, because this is how they were taught. It might even lead them to places to where I almost ended up at.
So, as an adult, if you were switched places, or as an adult, you walked into the situation that had scarred you, and you were watching it from the outside, it happened to another child, and you walked into that same situation, what would you tell that child?
See, that's actually funny you bring that up, because I actually, not that I've had the experience, but to this day, and this is kind of like a similar form of PTSD for myself, after with what I've gone through, to this day.
Oh, you definitely have it from that.
Yeah, well, to this day, I still get recurring nightmares of what happened, in which I view my younger self in that situation. And every time I try to go in to try to stop and save them, I often would get there too late. So it's kind of hard to say what I would say to that kid, you know, if I actually witnessed this in reality. Of course, I'm not going to stand there and let it happen. I don't care if it's somebody else's kid or not. I'm not going to see another kid basically share my fate when I was growing up.
Okay, so let's turn it around. Let's turn it around. What has it taught you, and how has it made you a better person? Because out of everything bad something good comes out of it.
It does. It really. And for many years, I didn't think that at all. I mean, there were times that I really thought I was going to be going down a dark path, because we hear all the time that, kids who are bullied or are being abused, regardless whether they have a learned disability or not, you always hear that they're more likely to drop out of school, 10 times more likely to commit crimes and illegal activity, 20 times more likely to end up in prison, and 50 to 100% more likely to become more likely to become addicted to drugs. So,
Absolutely.
and I definitely had a lot of dark thoughts growing up, even when I was just beginning my early days of studying the paranormal. And looking back into that, as crazy as it's going to sound, I cannot really fault myself for even having those negative thoughts, because there was a lot of times when I was growing up, I didn't think I was going to have a normal, positive life, and I wasn't going to make it. Life really had to prove me wrong, to give. So it's even still amazing to me, even at my age to this day, that I somehow managed to get a second chance in life. So I'm not.
No, you gave yourself a second chance. You didn't get it. You made it.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to describe it. So as far as now, honestly, it's kind of hard to really say exactly what the right words would be.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Nikki.
I think you're one of the most amazing people I've ever met.
Exactly. I would agree with that.
Yep.
So that's
why I asked, what would you tell your younger self? Because you have overcome all that. Yes, you still have PTSD, and it got brought back with that one message.
But and Nick, look how much light you bring into everyone that surrounds you, into their lives.
I know I always hear that a lot, and I definitely do believe that.
Yep, absolutely. So now you have a purpose, and that purpose changes every day. Yeah. It changes who you're around.
And going with what Adrian was saying, you are someone who can teach the younger kids at age 6, to respect people, no matter if they're different, no matter what kind of difference they have from the next, because we're all different.
Right.
Exactly. That's what I teach my job. I'm like, everyone's different, everyone's unique, and everyone has a purpose to be here, and you treat everyone with dignity and respect, and if you can't, then there's an issue.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, autism, any other diagnosis you could have in life, this isn't new.
No.
This isn't new.
Yeah.
The diagnosis might be new, or it may have changed.
The verbiage is new.
Right. What they used to call, I don't remember what they used to call them way back in the day, but when I was really young, they would call them retarded. Then they changed to mentally challenged. Then they changed to each diagnosis. These things have never changed. They have always been people. They have always been in our world, and they have always made a difference in this world. So, just like, okay, yeah, I ran into a TikTok today. I was watching, and I had a real hard time with it. No, I don't understand. I understand. I cannot get on that level of non-binary. I understand the pronouns. I understand that part of it. Because if you're shifting or whatever it is you're doing, I understand that part of it. I don't understand identifying as they, them, or whatever it is. And that's not my place to understand, but it is my place to respect whatever it is they want to do.
The only thing that confuses me is just English class. Calling someone a they when they
and this lady, she was a her, because they had asked her pronouns. She said she, her, and she was born a she. But so many people came in there, and if you don't like what you see, scroll the hell out.
Oh my gosh, please.
Don't have to say anything. Scroll the hell out.
Yeah.
I was
Oh.
watching her. She's beautiful, absolutely beautiful young lady. She didn't shave her armpits, so everybody had to comment on that. Who says you have to? Who says that that is
I
something?
still want to kill the first person who ever decided that women should wear makeup.
I don't.
Oh, she
Have
wore
you
makeup,
asked?
and she was absolutely a beautiful 23-year-old woman. Absolutely beautiful. She was wearing a collar, like a choke collar, like a dome collar
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
that had a rainbow heart. Absolutely beautiful. And then she was wearing a top that was, she called it a tankini, whatever it is. It's a bra. And it had a heart on it. It was absolutely cute. She was more covered than most people I see in Walmart. But,
Right.
and she was answering questions. And I thought that was amazing.
Mhm.
But people were berating her with, you need God, go to church. You worship the devil. And her story was she had a fiance who was a female,
Mhm.
and then she had a girlfriend, which is kind of a twist on
Mhm.
sister wives or whatever it is. Who cares who
Mhm.
she is in bed with? It's
Exactly.
not our problem. We're not there. Who cares?
Right.
She is a decent human. And people could not shut the hell up. And
Mhm.
she stayed there and answered their questions. But you know, in the background, that had to hurt her. I mean, yes, she's out there trying to show people she's a good person. And, you know, regardless of what she's got going on, she's a good person. And answer questions for that group of people. And they kept doing that. I finally said a few things and had to leave because I was, yeah.
Mum and
I
Dad
don't
came in.
understand the hate. I just don't.
I don't get it either.
No.
There
Are
are-
they hurting you? Are they sleeping with you? Are they cheating on you?
No.
Okay, then
Are
mind
they
your
in your
business.
house? No.
Then mind your business.
Then move on.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there that are judgmental to the point where they truly believe that you have to live by the standard that they set for themselves.
And I think that's where a lot of people have turned from the church.
Mhm.
Not that they've turned from God, they've turned from the church
Yeah.
because they are holier than thou, and you better keep up with what they think that you should be. It's not the people.
Mhm.
You're not out there to please the people. If you believe in God, you believe in God, you follow that.
Right.
But people won't do that anymore, and they've turned against the whole religion because that's how people want to act.
Right.
And I've seen some of them even turn to Satanism.
I see
because-
that. Yeah.
Well, and no, I'm not. But I
Mhm.
did my college thesis on Satanism. Number one, I did is the shock factor, but I learned a lot. I learned that what they see as Satanism is not who we know as Satan. And even if it is, it's about being true to yourself. And it's about it's still about being okay to other people.
Mhm.
Killing is not part of that. You know, it's the same thing. They don't see him as bad as like Christians do. It's more about yourself.
Mhm.
And Adrian, you just
And,
made me have a flashback that I have not thought about in years. I'm talking 20 years. Back when I was in middle school, there was this kid. I don't know what he had. There was this kid, and it kind of, I wish people would have been a lot nicer than Nick because of this, but there was this kid. He was in an electric wheelchair. He couldn't move, like his only could move his head. He had something. I don't know what it was, but all in junior high, we were friends. I would take him if he couldn't, you know, I'd do whatever he needed. You know, we were friends. Whatever
Yeah.
he had ended up, he passed away in junior high.
Oh,
And I'll never forget, I went
Jeez.
to his funeral. His mom pulled me aside 'cause I was like one of the only kids there. His mom pulled me aside and she just started crying. Thanking. We didn't hang out of school. I mean, I was a softball girl. That softball was my life. And but just because I was nice to him at school and because we hung out at school, that he always went home and talked about me. I never knew that.
Aw.
And I didn't realize I had that much impact on him.
That's
And
what
then
people don't realize.
and
Right.
recently, I reached out to a friend of mine I've known basically all the way through graduation. And of course, when we were growing up, being gay was not something you openly talked about.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah,
And
right.
so I had several friends that to this, I mean, they're gay now. I mean, I know that. But I knew that back then, but you just didn't talk about it. When they were ready to talk, they talked. Well, I reached out to a friend of mine and it was a he then, but she dresses in drag a lot now.
Mhm.
And and we were talking and he said that he only had a handful of friends his whole life, me being one of them. And he said, why? I said, because no matter what you were behind closed doors, you were always true to yourself.
Right.
He
Human.
he was the flamboyant back then. Okay. That was unheard of back in the 80s and
That
90s.
would have attracted me to him just because I like
Exactly.
different.
I'm like, he is cool. He doesn't care. It hurt because even his family kind of disowned him.
Sure.
Mhm.
But I mean, but just knowing when you have that kind of impact later in life on people,
That's right.
it
Mhm.
means so much.
It does. And think about the impact. If that had that much impact, think about the impact that and all of us have been nasty at one point in life.
Yeah.
And we can remember that being just a jackass.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I remember when I did it. And when you have that impact on someone, they remember that. And most of us don't remember. And I remember mine, but how many others did I do that I don't remember that they
Right.
still do?
And I think that's why even now I joke hard with people. I really do. I know I joke hard. I am not a serious person. There's enough out there like what Jeremy's dealing with, what Nick's dealing with,
That's right.
that needs to be, serious. But that I'm the comic relief a lot of times in things. And I know that about myself. But I mean, like one of my best high school girlfriends, she came out to me and a friend of ours saying that she was a lesbian. You know what my first response to her was? We used to have sleepovers all the time. I was like, did you have a crush on me? She said, well, no. Well, then I'm like, wait a second, why not?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. It's I think a lot of us, and I think a lot of other people do too, but they are taught to, I think human nature is to empathize with people. It is to, that's our first nature. But then somehow we're taught to either be condescending, which is the way I come across a lot. And
No.
I absolutely shut
No.
up.
What?
But I have this thing where, like, if somebody around me is hurting
Yeah.
or in pain and I can't fix it, I get
Mhm.
pissed. I mean, like,
You're like me.
pissed off. And it comes across as I don't give a shit. But
Mhm.
that's not it. It just pisses me off that I can't fix it. And Jan
Right.
brought something up one time, which now I know is absolutely true. I am very controlling. And it's not
No.
it's not wanting to control other people. It's wanting to control the situation around me and wanting to fix everything. Not that I
Right.
want it my way. I just want it fixed. I want
Mhm.
whatever it is to be fixed immediately. And when I can't do that, I don't know how to handle it. And I think that comes from when my mom died and I was 8 years old. I couldn't fix it. So now I'm trying to fix everything in life.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about that until Jan brought it up on our trip to Wisconsin. She was like, "You're a fucking control freak. And this is why. So fix it."
Nick, I know you kind of a lot of times focus on the bad stuff, which rightfully so. But I'm sure there had to be that one person
Chris
out
bullshit.
there that stuck with you. Sometimes I wonder, is it possible to focus on that every time you start focusing on the negative, to flip it and focus on that one positive person or situation?
See, with
Jan.
what's that, Jeremy?
I was going to say that would be Jan for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, I mean, at least when I was growing up, I didn't really have anybody I really looked up to other than, even though I didn't see him frequently at that time, was, and I talked about it on last week's show, is my grandfather. But at the time, though, like when this was all going on, that was far distant away from me. I wasn't even thinking about it, especially the situations that I was in. So as far as like really other role models or anything, I didn't really have it. That's why, as you know, as you guys just brought it up, that I'm able to kind of teach and also be able to be there for a lot of the younger generation now, because like I want to make sure that these kids don't grow up without having a positive role model. That's
And
why.
exactly.
That's why I basically want to give them the life I didn't have. Because if I had a real role model while I was growing up, I would never be scarred like this.
We have to, well, yes, you would, because even your role model, which at the time would have been your grandpa, could not be there in the situation when it happened.
Yeah.
There was no possible way he could have been there. He could be there after you got home, but
Yeah.
he couldn't have been there in the moment. So
No,
you
he
had
couldn't.
to handle that moment by yourself. And then when you got home, be able to handle it mentally. But there's two kinds of people. One is exactly what you're doing, wanting to give someone else what you didn't have. And then there's another kind of person that wants to have everybody feel what they felt when they were in that situation.
Yeah.
That's the two people in this life. That's the two personalities.
See, and I also had said this, and I probably might have said this a long time ago, but you know, at still kind of a young age I'm at. I mean, will I ever have my own kids? I'm not entirely sure, but I already have planned this out, you know, telling myself this, that unlike with what I went through, that if I ever had my own kids and, you know, there was a particular interest or something that they liked, or, you know, whatever the case is, bottom line is I would never, ever push them or force them into doing something that they didn't want to do. I'd want them to make their own, and whether they have whether they inherit the autism I have or not, I would never do that. I'd want them to make their own minds up. Essentially, I basically would want them to become almost like independent at a very, very early age, even long before they even turn 18, if it's of an interest to them.
Right.
And another thing I also had promised myself, I already told myself this a long time ago, but say, for example, if my future kids did like going to school and they decided they wanted to basically be, you know, a teacher when they grew up. I already told myself this a long time ago, and I plan on telling them this in case if I ever do have any kids, saying, look, if you guys like getting involved in all this school and educational stuff, I have no issues at all with you guys getting involved with it, but it's not something that I can do because I really don't know if I believe in the school educational system or not even today.
Right.
Now, one thing, Nick, on that, sorry, Adrian,
No,
you made a comment, let them do what they want to do. The only thing I will say, yes, let them do what they want to do. However, don't let them quit. I see that too much.
Well, that. No, I would not want them to quit.
And quit.
Right. No, I wouldn't want them to quit. Definitely not.
Nick, you have thought about this enough, and you have went backwards in your head with everything that's happened enough. I think you'd be a great dad, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But I'll tell you, and I don't know if I'm the only one because people don't talk about this. I wasn't up until, okay, so we're going to say my age. I'm 49. Up until I hit about 40, I was probably between the two. I was very empathic, always have been, but I was also like, okay, every once in a while, poke the see how
bear.
far I can get. It was about the age of 40 where I was like, you know what? That's not the impact you want to make in life. And that's not how you want to be remembered in life. And yeah, absolutely. It'll come out once in a while when somebody is doing something wrong to someone, or, I'm usually very passive and just like, whatever, let them live their life. I don't give a shit. But when they're affecting somebody I care about, we're going to have a problem. And it's going to be a big problem. I think Jeremy's seen it a few times. Nick has seen it a few times. I'm not very nice about it at all. But, in the end, that's not how you want to be remembered. But you also don't want to be remembered as, after about 40 years old, you start thinking, how do you want to be remembered? Because you're on the downside of life. You have more years behind you than you have ahead of you. So you start thinking about, yeah, you damn straight. But, until, which is funny, she pops on. It does take having a circle around you that can say, bitch, you need to stop. Or let's look at this a different way. Or, something. It does take somebody being around you to intercede your thoughts and make you look at things a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Or to talk about why you're feeling the way you're feeling. It may not be a therapist. It just might be a friend who is willing to say, I don't give a shit if you're mad at me or not. But I'm going to tell you how you're coming across.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you why you're coming across this way, because they can see it from the outside. Now, if that friend's willing to listen and take it in, it's going to help. If they have good intentions.
Right.
But you really have to have someone in life that's willing to do that. Whether it's a parent, whether it's a friend, whether it's, sometimes a stranger coming in going, the fuck? You're being stupid. And makes you look at your life a different way. But, if you want to be a good person, you listen. If you know they have good intentions. Exactly. There you go. Thank you, Jan. There's not too many people I'll listen to immediately. But I listen and I'll argue for the minute. And then when I walk away, I'll think about what was said and go, you know what? Maybe they're right. Then I'll come back and talk about it. My first reaction is to argue. Or say, nope, that's not why.
45
So,
minutes.
I do think there is a time. 45 minutes, okay.
Hey
I
guys,
think there is a time that we
I'm
start
really-
looking at our lives and change.
I'm sorry.
No,
I really
you're
Eileen has to
enjoyed
go.
the serious conversation. I'm just have to go. I've got an early morning. Tomorrow's my last day for a week at the property. Hey, I'm gonna be gone for a week. So next week when y'all are on, I will be in full costume. Hopefully the costume works out. So I will try
Is
to
that
log
next
in.
week? Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I
So,
would. Don't forget, though. I get you get an early shift, but you're only 24. Come on now.
Right? Yeah, so tomorrow, and then I'm off on Halloween. So I have I have to do my closeout, everything for a week and a day. I've got to do tomorrow before I get off work at 5. So
Yeah, I've argued with Jesse too.
all right. I love y'all.
I love
Good
you
night,
too.
Eileen.
All
Take
right.
care.
So next
Have a good
week
night.
we have Benny on. We
Well.
will definitely be privileged because he never comes on.
This will definitely be interesting. And of course, I will be in costume too.
Oh, we know you will.
Well,
I'm not saying I will.
Me
you
neither.
were last year.
Was I?
Well, no, you were kind of wearing this hat mask or whatever the hell that thing was.
Yeah, that's. I was wearing my son's. Oh yeah, there it is. My son's wrestling mask.
I don't know if I'll be in costume or not. I cannot wear a mask on. Nick, I don't know how in the hell you do it.
Here.
Oh,
Okay.
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh,
Hang
there
on.
we go.
I
That's
am
it.
going to wear something
Wait.
And the glasses on. You can be it.
There we go. That's it. That's what I'm gonna do.
Adrian, there is something I do want to touch up on that you said earlier with your daughter. The way that. Oh no!
Chris, are you? You would be privileged to see me naked. Are you kidding me?
Hey, whoa! Wait, what? I
Whoa.
had my headphones on for a second. What the hell?
Think about it, Nick. Just
Nick, just ignore it. That's a different show.
Anyway, what, Jeremy?
there is something I do want to touch on that you were talking about with what your daughter was doing earlier, and I am going to be completely honest. I don't know how I would be like during the time when I have my trade, because the big guy,
So,
he's probably seen that all his life. And seeing that from a little bitty girl doing something cute like that, I can absolutely see him reacting the way that he did. The lady in the wheelchair, my guess for her, she probably had been in that predicament for a long time and had completely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. She was a beautiful little lady. I'll never forget her face. She was blonde, beautiful little lady.
I don't know if I would have done so well in that situation. But at the time, everything being so fresh, I haven't accepted anything.
Right.
Is to be, because I would dare say that I was embarrassed by how I looked on that.
Yeah, and I think that does come from, and that's why I was asking everybody how they felt about that, because I do think how somebody reacts to that is a reflection of how they're feeling themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And you know, I was not exactly in the best of place. I was in a dark place for those few months.
Yep.
Joe.
Now, like Nikki, I would, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would suspect that if someone asked you a question, you would answer it if they weren't being condescending or just being stupid about it.
Mm-hmm. So I
But
didn't hear any
it
of
just
that.
really depends.
Yeah. It depends on the individual, I guess, because I've had scenarios where I've gone shopping with my daughter, and the way she would communicate is by doing it in different tones. And people will come up to me, why is your child making those tones? Why is she yelling at you? And she'll get in like personal space. And I'm like, dude, can you please step back from my, and it'll be people that will be in the older generation. I'm like, can you please step away from my child? My child has autism. She's having a moment. She needs personal space. Can you back off?
Right. But yeah, I mean, that's completely different. Them coming interjecting than just, trying to understand. Yeah, they have
That's
no
when I
business
come out.
interjecting.
And I'm like, if you're curious of why she's doing something, come up and ask me. Like, I'm not that scary of a person. Just like, hey, what is she doing? And I'll explain it to you, which I shouldn't have to, but I'm happy to do that.
Right. And like my daughter, she runs a daycare. And my daughter was abused as a child, not by me. But she was abused. And you go one of two ways. You either keep that cycle going or you break it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And she completely broke it. And she broke it to the point where her daughter is spoiled. not spoiled bad, but like she didn't want to talk when she was little, so she taught her
Mhm.
sign language.
That's what we do.
And I would not have been that way. Of course, I'm an older generation too. I would have said, "No, you tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you," because this child could speak. She just didn't want to. And but now, this child knows sign language, and for her daycare, that helps. She can communicate with some of the kids in the daycare.
That are definitely.
And I would always tease my daughter because her child had a nap time, and I mean on the dot. I don't care what was going on. She hadn't seen me for a year. It was nap time. She was going down for a nap. Period. End of story. And I used to tease her all the time about that. I told her, I said, "There's not a playbook for kids. They will tell you how it's done."
Right.
And of course, her daughter turned out amazing. She's
Nick, can you breathe? You're right. I'm just checking up on Nick. You're right.
he can now, and when he can put his earbuds back in, he'll be able to hear.
I'll re-say that. Hang on.
There we go.
Nick,
you
you're
can hear
right.
us now. Okay.
You know,
Wait,
Nick, I got to tell you, it is so much fun watching you making yourself suffer.
Jeremy, do you use these at all?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very similar to what we have called a peck board here.
Yep.
We actually have something like that for Angelia at ABA. It's not detailed like that, but it's like one is she needs to go to the bathroom. One is she wants to drink, food, hang out. It's like 5 or 6 different things.
Yeah, we've got
Does your child use them? And
so
do
I'll
well with them?
point. So with this one that I'm going to hold up, Nick, can you
Yeah.
do magic?
Right.
So with this one, you can actually pull it apart. So if she wants it, I'll be like, okay, you want Omar, and then I'll get her to put it back because also with the self.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
And then if she like wants to go to school, I'll be like, hey, there's school, put it back on, and stuff like that. So we've
Sounds
got
like
this one.
very strong Velcro.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say I've
it's
never
on there.
seen one with.
It ain't gonna come off.
I was gonna say I've never seen it with Velcro before.
Yeah, so we've got that.
That's actually a really, really good idea. In
Yeah.
fact,
It is. It is.
Nikki, can you send me something?
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry.
Or maybe where that came
Oh.
from. Can you send me something like that?
Yeah,
Maybe
sure.
I can be able to forward that to the people at ABA because
I'll give
they
you-
might be able to use that for Angelia and for the other kids that are there.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely send. I'll make one up for you, and I'll email it to Nick or whatever, or I can send it to you. It may take a while, but
Oh, you don't need to do that. Just send me like a picture or even a video of how it's used, and I can
Okay.
forward that to the people at the ABA and see what they think because I know
That'd
that
be
they have
awesome.
something similar to that.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's a good thing, but it's only got 5 or 6 things on it. But
oh, cool.
that I really like that.
So do I.
And
I've never seen one with Velcro before, so that's really
And
impressive.
Yeah. So what does that mean? If
You know what?
she takes it,
I'm
if
ready.
she puts it on, then she wants to?
So say,
And something like that can also help out with coordination.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Because
definitely.
also you can have ones that have photos. So that one's the photo of her therapist, what she looks like. Hey Emma. So say if she wants that, I'll put it down. And then she's only been doing the therapist one lately. She'll grab it and she'll be like, and I'm like, okay, so what therapist? And then she'll come over and then we're constantly, because it's got that pulling effect. So yeah, coordination. Nick, you can take me off to not big
Yeah,
one now.
I was just about to. I was only waiting because I thought you were going to present more of them, but that's just
No, that's
really cool.
Yeah,
so
I love
Jan
that.
has one too. I didn't know that.
And you got colors and stuff. And you can do it for your individual child or adult. So it's for their needs. Also, we've got a pet device, which is very similar to that, but with hers. Next time I'm live, I'll keep it. Hers is, there's 5 words. And what you do is you press it or you just get her to hit it and it'll actually talk. So it'll say a word. So it'll be like, okay, Vera wants more. And then she'll tap it and then it'll say the word more. So then at least you can kind of hear the word, but then also see the word. So hopefully she'll start talking. But she's been doing a few sign words, which is
Well,
that.
either way, that's fascinating because at least you guys have a way of kind of understanding what she's trying to say then.
Yeah. So, because with her, mostly if she wants an object, so say there'll like be a bottle of water, she'll tap the water and then I'll be like, Vera wants more. And then she'll tap it. I'm like, okay, you want more. And then I kind of give it to her. So, yeah, in a way, that's how she communicates by tap at the moment.
Jan says, I love pets. I made them just like that. I used our actual things in home and took pictures to help with the grocery shopping too.
That'd be cool if maybe you could send something like that to Jeremy.
Jeremy,
But also,
I sent you a picture. I
Yeah.
know Jan won't mind. She talked about her 230-pound 14-year-old boy. That's a
Yeah.
picture of him. That is my favorite picture in the world of him because I have that same shirt.
no.
Okay, so you want me to?
Yeah, show it.
Okay.
That's my boy.
I got to say, by the way, because I remember when I was really young, while he's sharing it, we used pet boards a few times when I was younger. And I often wonder how long those have been around for. And I just looked it up. They were first introduced back in 1985. So they've been around for 40
Really?
years. It's fascinating knowing that. Oh, wow. Check it out.
Isn't he a handsome little
Wow.
Yeah, he is.
Aw.
Let's make a panda.
Yeah. That was okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jen. That was his first day of school that he went to school with that shirt.
Sorry, I'm just putting the
Yeah,
back.
so, yeah, just by looking at Jam, that's my piggy.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
his nickname. That yeah.
Oh,
he's
was?
Piggy.
Okay.
Nate is Tater.
Tater.
Tater tot. Tater.
Yeah, I was thinking tater tot. So
That
that,
was-
Tater tot.
Evelina is
Go
Demon.
around. Does
She'll
she
tell the story sometime.
food jokes and things like that?
Evelina's Demon Child.
What, Jen? Dylan's the bot.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, she's just started to do the words. So
Yeah, but those.
She has some strange nicknames for every one of those kids. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
So,
Yep. See, Derek is.
we're
Ruby
checking
Quick.
there. We go.
I call mine
Strange,
Poochie.
yes, but Demon Child is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Have you seen her?
On video.
Oh no, yeah, yeah. She's my angel, but she's Mama's demon.
Oh, are you talking about Avi?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I can relate. Oh, I got the audio. Jan sent me an audio of her laughing, and I got to say that scared the hell out of me.
That was
Oh.
a creepy laugh.
It
When
was.
she
Yeah,
talks to me, she'll go.
like I actually was considering at one point, and well, I guess I'm gonna have to
Have a
spoil it.
Luna.
I guess I'm gonna have to spoil it for Jan, but like when I offered Jan to be part of this audiobook project, she wanted to include Avi involved, like in a way.
Oh yeah,
Although,
yeah.
well, see, by the way, I got to talk to both of you guys about the stories because there's only really just a few left because you guys are going to wait until the majority of them were taken. But Jan, she sent me an audio clip of Avi's laugh, and I'll be honest with you, I almost considered, even though there was no reading involved, because just like I did last year, I made a trailer for the first book. I thought about I wanted to make one for the third, and I almost considered about adding that laugh like at the very end, just to creep the
would.
hell out of people.
No, you need to put that laugh and do it as a hollow and hollow that laugh and put it in a story that involves kids.
I do have a few of them.
Oh, when she'll talk to me, she'll go,
I'll never forget that time that she demonstrated that to us. That freaked me out.
And I was so hoping to get it on video of her chasing me out of the cornfield.
I thought I was going to be the cameraman for that one.
Yeah, I really wanted to do that, and she did not bring her.
I was ready. I had the camera ready. You know, like I was
I
like,
know you
I was
did.
like, all right, as soon as she shows up, let's get to the cornfields.
Yeah, I wanted so bad to run out of a cornfield and have her come.
I can already picture it right now.
oh, you'd be really running for your life because this child can get scary when she wants to.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, it's just crazy to think too. Like even when I got freaked out by that team, I've even said this. Like, it's crazy to think I had somebody who literally was like half my age, and hard to believe that she could actually freak me out. Oh my God! Oh, can you imagine
And
what happened?
that's a good idea.
I'm going
Chris.
to tell you.
We could have had Abby screaming out Outlander as she was chasing.
No, I'm going to tell you. I don't know if you all saw the post today that I posted about the dream I had last night.
The only thing that I saw was numbers.
Okay, the numbers. The numbers
Yeah,
is what's
the one that
important.
I commented on.
Yeah,
that the one you're
that's what's important. So, the first thing when something happens, actually, Denny brought me the first part of that, and then I had a dream about it all night. But those numbers, when I said that to Jan, she goes, "What?" And she sent me a picture. Avelina has been drawing those numbers for the last 2 days.
Really?
Really?
And then I showed her a picture of where the people were sitting in my dream. Avelina had already drawn that same thing next to those numbers. I had no clue.
Javelina, it's Javelina.
Interesting.
Javelina. But no, this child is more in tune with spirit, with ancient Indians, with anything than we can ever try to be.
Right,
Because she has been nurtured.
To develop her.
Oh, there's no need to develop. You learn from her because she has not been like we have been told there's no monsters under your bed. Stop acting like that. Or there's nothing in your closet. You know, we're taught, nope, that stuff doesn't exist. We don't see it. So we don't see it. This child has not been taught that. She has been taught, what do you see? Okay, we'll deal with that. Come on, go to bed. It's not, you don't see it. It's okay, we'll deal with it. Let's deal with it. Tell it to go away.
Yeah, Nikki, I remember you've said that we've had a few conversations on that case involving your daughter, and I remember you've said that a couple times as well. I remember from some of our previous conversations.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
these
so-
kids are amazing.
Yeah, Vera has this thing about waking up at 3 a.m. every night. Like, I can put her to bed the latest as possible, but she'll still wake up at 3 a.m. and she'll walk around. She'll be like,
Oh,
I'm like, oh, you can do sleep. She'll just sit there and she'll be like, and I'll just like, angel guides, can you please watch over her? But whoever's here, you need to let her sleep. And then, yeah.
but she's not scared of them.
No,
They're
It
part
just
of
keeps
her
her
world.
up. Yeah.
they just pick her up. Yeah.
That's, you know, you couldn't ask for more than that. She's not scared. They're part of her world. She sees
Yeah.
what we can't.
Right. She's like me. So, yeah.
Do a white light bubble.
Mhm.
I've never heard of that before. A white light bubble?
Yeah.
So what that is-
That's what we do before we go into anywhere. We put a white light, like a bubble, around us of
Oh, so-
protection.
Mirrors.
Protection. Okay.
I do mirrors. I pretend
Okay.
there's mirrors around me. Like when I'm in the public, I pretend there's mirrors around me, and if there's negative, then it reflects and hits them.
So reflects back. Okay.
12-year-old girl whose mom works at the Abbey. She's like that too.
Really? Okay. This, I tell you, the Abbey is like, there's always constantly something different coming out, something more. There's just like layers to that place.
Yeah.
It was
know.
different.
What, Jeremy?
It was different.
It really was compared
is,
to a
it
lot
is.
of other. I would probably say it definitely was different compared to a lot of other sites I've investigated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not just
Will always go back.
that building, but it's not just that building.
Oh no, it's like the land entirely.
Yeah, just like when Jan and I were chasing something in the nun's house.
Yep.
Yeah. Taught people to do this when they
And-
asked me for help in some darker problems, the
And
white
if
light
right.
it
bubble.
wasn't for that
Right.
flower pot, your camera would have caught the door shut or open.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for that flower pot.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Well, I already
And
know.
we won't make that. Well, shit. No, my cameras wouldn't have caught nothing because they didn't record a damn thing.
Been there, done that.
Not
All they
one
clean it up, forget to
damn
turn it
thing.
on, do an investigation. You're like, really?
Damn flower pot.
It
Yeah.
said it's there. You go to click it. There's nothing there. Nothing.
You know, well, even if we didn't capture it, I mean, I know we already had said this numerous times already since we left. I know we'll be back. So maybe next time we'll have a better chance of maybe getting something without that flower pot being in the way.
We will
So
definitely
what's this
know
flower pot thing?
what not to do.
What, Nikki?
So what happened? Tell me, flower pot. What's with this flower pot?
We were at the sister house where the nuns stayed in this abbey,
Mhm.
and we had it set up there because they said it's haunted and hardly anybody's ever investigated there except the people that work there and the closest people there. So we had my setup. Jeremy set it up all the way through there, had it recording. It's done.
Mhm.
It didn't have sound, but it had recording.
Yeah.
Had a picture.
You get
still.
home, and Zach accidentally hit delete on my body cam. So,
Oh man.
and then the other one, he got ready to do it, and he's texting Jeremy going, "Hey, this isn't working. It shows right here." He sent him a picture of it. Goes, "Look, it says it's right here." You click it, says no recording.
Usually, for my DVR system, the only way to delete something is to format it. Apparently, that doesn't work on you. It does. It's not that way on yours.
Yeah, it's flower pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Griff,
No,
I'd
been
love to
there.
have you. When we go, I will definitely let you know.
Yeah, well, how's he
Thank
going to be able if we have to be back on the show, me and Jeremy? How's he going to do that without scaring the hell out of me on the show?
Well, that's the whole point of inviting him so that he doesn't do the jump scares. But
See?
no. But
I could imagine.
remember this, Nick. He may not be online to do the jump scares, but that does not mean he's not going to be hiding behind a corner waiting for you to come
Oh
out.
no! At that point, no. At that point, it's our turn to scare him.
Yeah. I can finally retaliate in that case.
That's right. Well,
Oh, he's got Twitch on his phone. No.
that's
Aw.
okay. You can retaliate, but you have to be a little more protected next time before you can retaliate.
Yeah.
Nikki,
Yeah,
you
that-
should see these guys get scared. I'll get him.
It's more of
Like,
me.
there's this big computer screen in front of you. We're talking to Dennis, who
Dennis,
is
yeah.
actually the tour guide, but he knows all the
Um.
history. He's awesome, and he has an actual rapport with all the spirits there.
Oh, wow.
And so he's not scared of nothing. He'll go down in that basement. You smell something, you saw something, I'm going down there.
Oh, cool.
Okay. But
I
we're interviewing,
Don't
and
have
he
that.
does this, "Ah!" and it comes on screen while you're trying to talk. It scares the shit out of you.
I still do not make that clip from Dennis when he said that he was going to cut out and send to me.
Well, in Dennis's defense, he's been sick, so now hopefully he'll get shit done.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about him.
Yeah,
Dennis.
he's been sick.
No.
I think he's better now, though.
That's-
Nick, I'm doing my first night investigation tomorrow.
Oh, you do?
Ooh.
Where at?
Pioneer Cemetery in Kenwick in Perth.
Oh, nice.
And it's ranked number 2 location in
Janice
WA.
Lynn.
Sorry, what was that?
It's
love
ranked the
you.
second hauntest place in Perth.
Oh, wow. That's got
I've done day ones, but not night. Yeah.
Oh, so it'll be the first one night for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. During the day, they were quite active and stuff. So,
Here's one
I
night.
love you. Go to sleep.
Night, Jan.
okay.
Try
Uh,
not to let me try not to let me get in your dreams and scare the shit out of you.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
she's gonna be the possibly the new modern day real Freddy Krueger in that case.
Oh, it takes more than that. It has to be reality to scare her.
Well, here's the thing. Jan might be able to pull you into her dream and then scare you so bad that you wake up screaming.
It's just going to depend on who's stronger that night. Halloween will scare the shit out of both of us.
Hmm.
She scared. I told you, she scared me when again Jan gave that demonstration and the laugh. Like, holy! I mean, I wasn't thinking that it was going to be that bad. I'm like, holy Christ!
You ought to
But
see that
nothing
child
will
when
ever
you're
touch.
talking on the phone, and she's just like, "What are you doing?"
But
John,
nothing will
talk right.
ever touch the way that I scared her
All right, I'm there.
twice in the same day doing the exact same method.
Wait, what?
I scared Jan twice the same day doing the exact same thing.
What, naked with margaritas?
And
Yeah.
both times she almost jumped into Adrian's arms.
You were
Oh,
naked
this is
with
good.
margaritas?
Yeah. She had the window up and I could hear that high pitched.
At Walmart. I remember that.
No, you scared me more than 3 times, Chris. I know it was more than 3 times.
Yeah, it was definitely more than 3 times.
Scared me twice that I know of.
Huh?
Oh,
It scared me twice that I know of when I came in there, and I was just in there a short time.
guys, I just got I don't know if you saw the private message on Nikki. Unfortunately, has to go.
Well,
All right,
we
sweetheart, good night.
Thanks,
We-
Stay
Nick.
happy on as always.
good
Let
night.
us know how tomorrow night goes.
It'll be live on Facebook, hopefully, if I actually press live.
Okay.
Yes, Jeremy?
We need to end the show. We've been on for 2.5 hours.
We
now.
do. We do.
Do you know what? It's been a good show, though. I mean, like what we've been talking
It has.
about. Let's be honest.
Thank
Well,
you. Love you.
Tonight
Take care, Nikki.
we talked about a topic that so sorely needs talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
And I didn't think we were going to
Can't
talk
leave.
for that long. I didn't think we were going to talk.
I was thinking 20 minutes tops.
I was thinking the
No
same thing
idea
too.
what
I thought
the whole night.
I thought we'd only talk about it for 20 minutes, then switch to another subject. But that was definitely not the case. Good night, Denny.
We always do. Good night. And since Denny is here, Denny is going to be our special guest next week. So, happy Halloween.
Yep.
Right.
Well, it's still almost 2 weeks before the actual day of
Close
Halloween.
enough.
Close enough.
Our Halloween.
It is our Halloween because we're not going to have another show until after that Halloween. So
Yeah.
that's our Halloween episode.
Well, if you kind of think about it, you know what? Even though it's not going to be on Halloween, the week after, the Thursday after Halloween is what I would always consider the real final day of the season because it's on November 2nd. Because you got
Right.
All Saints and Souls Day, so we may not be on Halloween, but we will be on All Souls Day.
And that's actually my brother's birthday.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's right at the end of the season, so we'll be on 2 more times
Yeah,
for this.
I get to text him like I do every other year and say, "Happy birthday, old man." Yeah, and
Yeah.
I get up early in the morning too. But before I go to bed tonight, I need to pull everything out and get ready for the Para Unity convention, which is Saturday night in Peru, Indiana. And a whole bunch of us are going out there tomorrow night to do the setup, and I'm taking everything with me to unload.
Hey, Jill.
I don't want to deal with the unloading on Saturday morning.
I really
don't
wish I
blame
could. I really wish I could go to Para Unity. I really, really
No,
do.
you need to get your shit set up before that. Get your shit done so you're not pissy.
Tell me, wait, are you telling me that? I thought you
Yeah,
were telling that to
sure, yeah.
Jeremy.
No, I got my shit together.
Chris,
most-
no, not para nudity.
I'm in. Let's do it.
Actually, believe it or not, I used to have a teammate that would pronounce it that way because he couldn't pronounce Para Unity correct.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know how you could get away
That's
with saying.
embarrassing.
Yeah, well, I'm trying, Adrian. It's just that, if I had another way to get out there, I definitely would have gotten out there immediately.
Yep.
So,
And also next weekend will be the 2-year anniversary of the thing.
yes, I was hoping I'd get my video filmed last night, but unfortunately, because Don's actually going to be helping me out with getting my Scary Stories host segments. Unfortunately, he had to cancel out the last minute. Well, it's because of work. He had to get up like 3 a.m. this morning.
Right,
So we are rescheduling to Saturday instead. So I'll get that sent to you hopefully by Sunday, Jeremy.
I've been getting
That's
a bunch
okay,
of
Chris.
videos. I've been
I'd
getting
go
a bunch of
topless too.
videos
That's my
these
best
last
feature.
couple days.
Wait, what, Jeremy?
I've been getting a bunch of videos these last couple of days.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Want me naked
So
with a
you want me naked
burrito?
with a
What?
burrito? Sure. Let's do it. Chris, I'll go topless with you. That's my best feature. And then Denny can be with us with the burrito and we'll go. Let's go. Let's do this.
I also saw that video, by the way, that you sent me, Adrian, about that other person that put Gorilla Glue in their hair.
Wasn't that awful?
No.
Who in the hell?
I saw that video.
You saw-
I'm thinking, why are people still doing that?
I don't know, but I've told you guys about that other video.
They've actually been doing it because it's been on TikTok.
Yeah, they're obviously using it also to create GoFundMe so they can become rich as hell out of it.
Yeah,
the
go
level,
fund me to get this shit out of my head.
the
Well, the
level
more
of
stupid it wouldn't be in your
stupidity.
head.
What, Jeremy?
The level of stupidity.
They're always like the same thing. It's like I always ask. It's like these people are saying, "Have you ever used it for hair gel?" I heard it works really well, so I decided to give it a shot. But it all goes back originally to because there was a lady who did it originally, and she's infamous for it.
Somebody with naked margaritas. Yeah, that'd be Jan. We'll see each other in our dreams tonight with naked margaritas. We're good.
Okay, I mean,
I have
Meet
to
us
ask,
there.
how did we as a society make it to the year 2023?
With
I
the
don't know.
labels on shampoo that says only use externally, do not drink.
and yet people drink it anyway. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I wish I knew the answer, Jeremy. But this whole thing about naked margaritas, I'm just gonna say this. I mean, can we Gorilla Glue them onto Chris?
Well, if you have
let's
anything
work
involving
on that.
margaritas, you're going to be playing a Jimmy Buffett song at that time.
hey, you know what? He's already crossed over. We can do this. We can do this in our dreams. We can get it. We got this.
Survival of the fittest.
With naked
We don't want
with
to be like
being
those other
naked,
paranormal people.
with being naked, margaritas. We will invite Jimmy Buffett. Chris, you can come along. Denny, you and your burrito. Let's go.
I hate to say this, but you guys know that Jimmy Buffett is dead now, right?
That's what I said. We'll invite him
Oh,
in our dreams.
invite him. Yeah, okay. I
Now
was
that
going to
he's
say,
crossed over.
yeah.
So we get to have our own late version of Huff Paranormal.
Sounds like a fun party. Yeah, yes, it does.
It
Jill.
does. We will see how this goes by morning.
Well,
We'll see who scores who. You
I
ready,
won't be-
Chris?
I won't take part in this one.
You may not have a choice if we decide to summon you.
I'm not appearing naked though. That's for sure.
If we summon you naked, you will be.
I got loads of stuff on right now. I think
You
I'm
may
good.
have them on physically, but when we summon you in our dreams, you may not be.
God no.
That sounds like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4.
Yeah.
Nick of the Elm.
Woo, furries!
Do we,
Jeremy
I
can be
will
the
have
furry.
no part in furries.
When I first saw that, I swore I read that as fairies.
No, don't answer that.
Whatever you want to come as, let's do it.
I will have no association with furries.
Jill, please tell me you got my text.
Talks about what? About
Oh,
furries?
he wants to be furries with you tonight, apparently.
So anyway,
So if anybody has any strange dreams tomorrow, it's because of us. Sorry.
actually, I've been having some strange dreams off and on. Really weird.
Uh-huh.
No,
It's about
Jill, videos. Get your text.
Oh my god.
Damn it, woman.
Okay, you two play furries.
She did get
We'll
it.
drag you in our dreams later. Let's say goodnight.
Let's say good night. I got stuff to do.
I got stuff to
If
do.
you
too.
do,
Like I said,
get
Adrian-
dressed in that furry outfit.
and
We'll see you
Adrian, like I
later.
said, I'm gonna reach out to you next day or two just to give you the update on the stories because
Oh.
I actually am trying to speed this up. So I'll
Oh.
message you either tomorrow or next day afterwards, both you and Jan. Oh God, Jill, don't even bring that up. You've got many
No,
of them.
she's actually being serious.
Oh,
And
okay.
along with
I thought you meant the furries.
what happened today and how we solved it.
Okay.
Since we are talking about furries, I do want to bring this one picture up.
Oh
Because
God.
he just
Let's
posted
see how
this-
you're going to dress tonight. Let's see it.
Should I get an adult for this?
he just posted this today, and this is something that we had actually been talking about. It's Coy. His name is Coy. He's one of the guys that's been helping put together the
Corey.
the convention.
Yeah.
And
He's a
well,
furry.
no, I'm gonna ask you, instead of telling you what it is, I'm just gonna ask you a question. If he should have a giant Coke bottle with him.
A Coke bottle. Ah, that's
Oh
terrifying.
my God, Zach would love that outfit. Hold on.
Oh man.
So for about the past week or so, he's been saying that he was gonna, he
There you go.
was gonna get something like this. And I said, Coy, if you're gonna do this, you have got to have yourself one of them giant Coke bottles.
Oh,
Yeah,
Zach would
now
love
I get
that.
it. The polar bear one. I know exactly. Okay, yeah, it's the polar bear Coca-Cola ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So he got the outfit, but he doesn't know anybody that's got like a 2 or 3 foot Coke bottle.
No, they come in this size.
So he may try something, but he might be wearing it a pair of Unity,
And
but
then-
I doubt it because he said that in the 10 minutes that he was wearing that just enough to take this picture. He said that it was hot as hell.
Just like my hoodies.
Here we go. See,
Polar
we'll do
bear.
this.
Oh, used to collect the ads, Cokes, because of the polar bears.
Yeah, and then ones like this.
Here, hold on. There you go.
I don't know what Coke has to do with polar bear. I really don't, but
It's something they have been doing for 20 years.
No, even more. I remember the polar bear commercials even from the late 90s. So about 25, 30 years. I see you got the Adonis shirt on right now. Adrian, I didn't even notice that.
You know, I was wondering why she was wearing the Fear Fest shirt, but I didn't want to say anything. Now that I see them, of course.
Yeah, but those commercials, those have been going on for like 25, almost 30 years now.
It's been a long time.
I'm honestly surprised and amazed that they're kind of bringing that. They haven't done it frequently, but they've been bringing them. They kind of been making a comeback. As well, obviously they make a comeback because they're more associated with the holiday Christmas season. So we'll probably see them again
Well,
later.
every year. They
They had a few that
never went away.
Well, no, it's just that they don't really. I've never seen them throughout the year except for like during the holiday Christmas season. Looks like Seth Rollins.
Actually, in that picture, I do.
Yeah.
really?
Here, wait. We gotta turn a little bit to the left. Nope, to the right. Excuse me. I'm sorry. There we go.
I actually do look like Seth Rollins. So.
You kind of do.
Do you even know who Seth Rollins is?
No.
No, I didn't say I was going to say no. I know of Seth Rollins. It's just that it's been a very long time since I've heard anything about him.
I don't know who he is.
Just looking up.
That's what I'm doing. I'm
Seth
trying to.
Rollins, WWE.
Oh Lord!
yeah.
No wonder I don't know.
Yeah, he's an. I knew already he was a professional wrestler.
He is currently the world heavyweight champion.
Okay, so now that I didn't know anything about.
Yeah, is one of the hardest working wrestlers today.
Now I'm going to assume that you guys have you've talked about Marks on Wrestling, obviously, right?
Yeah, we actually did talk about Seth Rollins and Al Perez.
That's funny. I'm looking up more of his film, like because it's funny. He's even been involved in video games.
Right here.
Yeah.
This is Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Well, I know what he looks like. I know exactly who that is.
So
Jeremy's face is on the shirt is like a must-have. It's great though.
the thing is, it was just supposed to be a joke.
Yeah.
But people took it seriously.
I never took it seriously. That wasn't me.
You're lucky I wasn't wearing the shorts.
You have that?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Do I really want to know what they look like? I don't think I want
They're
to.
No, you
spandex.
don't.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're against that.
Because
Actually, Jill, we have that, and I'll send you the link.
What were you gonna say, Jeremy?
I was gonna say because the way that my face is positioned on those shorts is not the best.
Yep,
but
I'm good. I don't need to see it.
they all have different cuts.
Do
though.
we ask?
They all have different cuts. It's okay.
Hope that's not going to be me one day. If someone takes a picture and puts it on, I seriously hope that's not going to be me one day.
Well, yeah.
Challenge accepted.
What challenge?
You don't want to know.
Yeah, fucked up, Nick.
All right, folks, we need to get off of here. We're coming up on 3 hours now.
Yep.
We've had a great show tonight.
Oh, this was great. No doubt about it.
It really was. We should have serious topics like this more often, to be honest.
Yeah, really. And no, thank God they're not, Jill.
They are silky, but they're spandex. I'll send you a picture, Jill.
And let the embarrassment roll in.
Yep.
All right, y'all. Those of you that are lucky enough to see us in your dreams, we will see you tonight. The rest of you, we'll see you next week.
I better bundle up.
And
It won't help you in dreams.
beware of the extra long fingernails.
And the red and green stripes. And the hat, too.
All right, everybody. Thank you for playing along tonight. It's been a great show. Next week, we're going to have Denny on the show, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And Denny, if you're still around, I'm going to go looking through your profile and steal a picture so I can make a.
I'll find you one.
So until next week, don't forget 13th Dimension is not on this weekend because I am going to be busy.
Yep.
So, but I will be back on Sunday with Donald for Marks on Wrestling. So looking forward to that. I'm so glad to have that show back on.
Yes.
So until next week, have a good night. Enjoy your
Good night, y'all.
Everybody.